we go. Unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. I gotta be honest with you, that game drove me nuts. I cannot believe the Buccaneers lost that game. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Tough one. Man, that was an absolute blazer from Cooch, wasn't it?
What a crazy game. The Bulls are bowl bound for the third season in a row. An incredible performance.
But listen, we know the competition. They did what they had to do.
No more silver linings. No more moral victories. It was put up or shut up time. And boy, did they rise to the occasion.
Microphone. There we go. See, yesterday was fine. The day before it wasn't. I don't know what the hell's going on with this damn microphone, but we're here. We're live. You can hear me now. I guarantee you nobody's going to be doing a show quite like this today. Welcome to the Recher podcast. Happy March 6, 2026. International Women's Day is March 8th, this Sunday, but we're going to celebrate it today on the program. This is something that I've been doing since day one. Back when I was at WDAE, and this is something that I'm going to do every year. And I know now they have National Girls and Women in Sports Day. But for me, I like International Women's Day better because this is what we've been doing every year. Maybe I'll switch it next year. I don't know. But this year it just crept up on me, and it was on a Wednesday, and it was just like, the hell, man. I've written this. I've had this date down for weeks now because I wanted to celebrate a day that is very important to me, because I feel like when we're talking about women in this country, women in sports, they need to have more advocates than just the females themselves. So I started this many years ago on WDAE, where we went to 5 different cities in North America, and we spoke to a lot of different women just to get their insights on their career, their whatever sport that they cover, and just overall, like anything else, any pertinent information. And we'll continue to do that today. 5 different women will join us on the program today, and we will start with the head coach of our USF women's basketball team, Coach Michele Woods-Baxter. We pre-recorded this interview earlier this morning because they had to hop on the plane because they're heading out to Tulane for their matchup tomorrow. So Coach B will join us at 12:10. 12:30, our good friend Deandra Loux from the Hockey News. And now the Tampa Bay Rowdies. She is now their sideline reporter. She joins us at 12:30 today. Tracy West, the tournament director of the upcoming Valspar Championship over there at Innisbrook. I cannot wait. Cannot wait for the Valspar. It's one of my favorite weekends of the year. It's become even more special these last couple of years because my mom and dad have come down now. And I think this is our 3rd or 4th year together. My mom booked these tickets to come down here for the Valspar like 8 months ago or whatever the hell it was. It's a very special weekend for us in our family. So the lovely Tracy West joins us at 1 o'clock. She is just unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. At 1:20, Jordan Listro, the captain of our Tampa Bay Sun soccer team, she joins us on the program, and we're going to talk about her golf swing. Her husband, Christian DeMarco, a fantastic golfer. He played at USF, and she posted a video of her golf swing. We're going to have to take her to task and see what's going on with Jordy's golf swing. And then at 2 o'clock, our good friend Lynden Blake is going to join us from the Daily Wire. We always talk a little bit of pop culture. We talk a little sports. So we'll have some fun with Lynden as well. And then at 1:40, kind of in between everything, we'll give you an NHL trade deadline update, because that is going to be permeating throughout the entire show today as we inch closer to the 3 o'clock NHL trade deadline. Will the Tampa Bay Lightning make a move? We haven't seen anything quite yet. So we're kind of looking around and wondering, who's going to go where. And it looks like Nick Foligno could be. Minnesota Wild are making moves. They're trying to they got Bobby Brink in there from Philadelphia. I know he was one of the names that was linked to the Tampa Bay Lightning, possibly a right-handed shot that could help them out on the power play. But he goes to Minnesota. John Carlson, the longtime Washington Capital, He is going coast to coast like butter and toast. He's with Anaheim now. And now it looks like the Minnesota Wild are closing in on Nick Foligno, the captain of the Chicago Blackhawks. And we remember Nick Foligno from his time with the Toronto Blue Jackets. Yep, I was going to say that. I did say that. The Columbus Blue Jackets, they are playing for John Tortorella. You know what kind of game he plays. A really tough forward. And we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Really cool, too. Nick Foligno going to Minnesota. His brother Marcus plays there. All right, nothing yet. Nothing yet. If anything breaks when it comes to our Tampa Bay Lightning, regardless of who we're chatting with, we will break in with that information. So keep it locked right here on the Recher podcast. Make sure you're following me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. You know I am everywhere. I posted 2 big videos last night on social media as far as why I think the Buccaneers should stay away and steer clear of Trey Hendrickson. Cliff Notes version of that. He's 31, coming off of a season-ending injury. He's going to cost upwards of $20 million. That's too much. Too much of a risk. I just don't think it makes much sense. And for all those people that want Mike Evans back at any and all costs, you bring Trey Hendrickson in here, there's no way that you're keeping Mike Evans. It's just the nature of the beast. Also, a video on why Coach Brian Hodgson has been the perfect fit for this USF men's basketball team. And you'll hear, because I asked the question to Coach Michele Woods-Baxter, who in her own way had to carry the torch from a wildly popular coach that preceded her. But he's just been the absolute perfect guy to take over for Amir Abdur-Rahim and then Ben Fletcher. And you saw it again last night as they come away with the victory in Memphis. And I know it's been kind of a shit show there for Coach Penny Hardaway and the Tigers, but still not an easy team to play, still not an easy place to play. There's a lot of good talent there. They just haven't been able to put it all together. And you just look at this team, how even if a guy like Isaiah Nelson doesn't have his best game last night, Joe Pinion had 0 points, but Enos puts in 29. Isaiah comes back, and he's just unbelievable. 2 steals, 2 blocks, double digits in points. Pinion, a bunch of rebounds, a bunch of assists. This is such a complimentary basketball team. They're just such a joy to watch. And that was like the longest regular season game ever. There was so many whistles. I think like the first 5 minutes of the second half took like 40 minutes in real time. But I tip my hat to Coach Brian Hodgson, and as impressed as I've been with him, I said this yesterday, as a coach, I'm even more impressed as a man and as a father and as a soon-to-be husband. I'm pretty sure they're engaged. I don't think they're married yet, but to see his son Jet passed out in the stands last night, I'm so glad that he's here. And a warning shot to my guy, Chris Torello. All right. Chris Torello keeps saying, bring him to Providence, because he's a Providence Friars guy and he's getting everybody all riled up in Bulls Nation. There's not many people that have been supporting the Bulls as much as Torello the last decade here in Tampa Bay. And he's getting a rise out of all of you trying to get Coach Hodgson to Providence. Stay away from Coach B, Coach H. Stay away, Torello. I love you, but keep your filthy paws off of Brian Hodgson. All right, buddy? Again, questions, comments, concerns, leave them there at the bottom of the screen. And Benny, Bolts will get their season back on track on Saturday. We'll talk some hockey with Deandra Loux at 12:30. I put 5 things out after the game last night. One of them was, don't freak out. Everything's going to be okay with the Tampa Bay Lightning. The $10 super chat. We got a $50 super chat from Richie yesterday and a $10 super chat from our Liverpool loving David Terry. DT, I love you, buddy. Thank you so freaking much. Couldn't do this without you. JR, boys look like they did in the beginning of the season. I've noticed since Hemon and Mac we're not playing defense as good as we were. No, and it's not just on them either, but they'll definitely fix it. Janet Best, our first lady of the show. Happy Friday. Hoping the Bolts get back on track soon. Rolly's in the house. The Lightning after the Olympic break feel like the Bucks after the bye week. And here's a $5 super chat from Janet as well. Thank you so much. Who do you expect JBB to get, Jay? I'm hoping Steven Stamkos, but we'll see. We shall see. This is good, CJ. Legend has it that the refs are still gathered around the monitor up in Memphis at this very moment. You're right. That game almost took forever. They almost missed their flight home. And shout out to our guy, Bart Hill, as well. All right. It's International Women's Day, and we're going to start the show with a very, very good friend of mine. And she's done such an incredible job taking over for Coach Jose Fernandez, the Road Warriors. The home. I don't want to say Road Warriors. They've won their last home game, but in Denton, not an easy place to play. They got to make sure that they can take their strong play at home over to the road. They've been crushing it at home. You saw it on senior night where they blew out Temple. And we know how tough Temple is. Coach Michele Woods-Baxter. They're traveling as we speak. We recorded this a little earlier. No better way to tip off International Women's Day, the celebration of International Women's Day, than Michele Woods-Baxter, the head coach of our USF women's basketball team. Enjoy. All right, here we go. I told you guys we were going to tip off the show. We are going to celebrate International Women's Day in the best way possible. One of my favorite people here in the Tampa Bay area. We go way back, and it's USF women's basketball coach Michele Woods-Baxter. Coach B, I know you guys are about to hop on a plane and get on out of there and get ready for a game. So thank you so much for taking some time today. How are you?
I'm good, Jay. How are you?
I am wonderful. I mean, listen, senior night the other night. I mean, when you play a team like Temple, they know Temple tough, right? But first, I had to check the score multiple times. I go, oh my goodness. What has been the difference? I mean, this team at home, the girls just turned into different human beings. What is it about playing at the Yingling Center this season where they just flip a switch and they are just incredibly dominant?
Yeah, I think it's the energy, the whole energy of the building. I think, between our band and our cheer and our fans, it's an incredible atmosphere. And I just feel like our players really play off of that when we're at home. Like sometimes on the road, we go to some gyms that may be a little bit empty. So it's hard to get them motivated like that. But when you have that electric atmosphere that we get at the Yingling, it's our girls just feed off of it, I feel.
Do you address that when you go on the road? Because your team's tough. Like, they've been through so much these last couple of years. And I think of Carla and, even this year, I mean, with Jose going late and then you stepping in, like, these girls are mentally tough and mentally strong. And it is a little surprising to me that they're not able to kind of duplicate and replicate that performance on the road. Is that something that you address, or is that something that you kind of just, you wait until, the game happens and then you kind of adjust from there? Like, how do you address it when there's such a big disparity between your home and your road record?
It's, we do talk about it, and we talk about having to bring the energy, because you're not going to have the energy of your fans and your crowd and having to really hype each other up. So we got to make sure our bench is great. Our people that we bring with us, they have to be great. But we've got, I think, being on the road, we were okay early. We won those 5 straight conference games, and then we stumbled when we lost to Temple at the very end. And there, I thought we sort of spiraled on the road. Like, can we really do this? Are we really good enough? And it took us a minute to sort of get out of that funk that we were in, But I thought when we went to play at UTSA, we were a much different team. And even North Texas, because we were very shorthanded. And that game was right before Tulane. I thought, okay, here we go. Like, if you can go into North Texas shorthanded and get a W, you're able to win on the road. So hopefully, like I said, we go to Tulane. We play them tomorrow afternoon, and hopefully we put out the type of performance that we put out against Temple.
Yeah, and that's the thing I've heard from a lot of people. You don't necessarily think about that when you go to Denton, but North Texas is one of those places where it could be a house of horrors for people on the road, regardless of what their skate or what their record is that year. How do you feel like your team is? Because I know we've talked about this before. I've talked with Coach Brian Hodgson as well. How do you feel the team is kind of ascending as we get closer and closer to postseason play?
I really think they're starting to believe. I think they've always believed, but it's different, just because of everything they've been through and all the adversity. And then we lost those close games. But I think now they're looking around like, hey, we can really do this. Like, we can get to the NCAA tournament. And I think the confidence is been much better than what it has. And I think now you're seeing a team that's like, oh yeah, we can do this. This isn't as tough as we thought it was going to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's important because you have to get that little bit of doubt out of their mind going into conference play. And I think that's disappearing a little bit throughout our whole team.
Yeah, and when you say that, because I remember talking to you early in the season, it seems like the confidence has been there, like within the group as far as like personally, like personality wise, but now it seems like it's translating on the court. So it seems like the confidence was there off the court, where sometimes it seems like for certain teams that could be harder. It seems like you guys had the confidence off the court. Now you're getting it on the court. Is that fair to say?
Yes, it is. And that's, and like I said, and I think, because we've always played as a team. We've always shared the ball. We have a great culture, a great locker room, but I just, like I said, those couple of games we lost, close games, it just shook us up a little bit, and it just shook our confidence a little bit, So I feel that even in practice, I can see it. Like our practices have just been so intense lately. And I think because of that, now that's what's carrying over to the games as well.
Yeah. And somebody that you and I have talked about is Carla Brito. And I think she's had, in my 20 years of living here in Tampa, one of the more impressive careers when it comes to USF athlete, going through the trials and tribulations, the ups and downs, program wise and personal wise, right? She came out of the gates, and then I know there were some struggles with her and Jose, and she was grinding through it. And I was so curious to see, all right, how is this young lady going to be able to kind of come out of this? How is she going to be able to deal with that tough coaching? And she's still here today, and she's balling. And the game I was at, where she had the 19 rebounds, I joked, couldn't get one more rebound, Carla, let's go. But like, she to me is one of those people that you're going to be able to look back and go, if you can play like Carla, if you can really just persevere through the tough times, you are going to get everything out of this experience at USF. What has it been like to be able to see her growth?
Oh, it's been incredible. Like, even since she came on as a freshman, she has started and was a big part of a very good team. And then some of the seniors graduated. And now the locker room was different because now new people had to take over. So like you're saying, her sophomore year, she was a little bit up and down, and then she finally was like, okay, this is going to be my team. If it's going to get right, I'm going to be the one to make it right. And I think since then, after her sophomore year, that summer, she was like, it's going to be me now. And she has. I mean, she's been, with our locker room, like I said, our locker room and culture, it's because of her. She won't tell you that, but being on the outside looking in, I can see that. I can see how players react to her and how hard she works at keeping a team together, regardless if it's a freshman or a fifth-year transfer who's been a superstar somewhere else. That's not easy. And it takes a special person to be able to do that. But I think, like I said, after her sophomore year, she sort of looked around and thought, well, this should be me. I should be able to do this. And she's just took off from there. And that helped with her own confidence,
Right. All right. So we'll play the rest. I'll post the entire interview up on the channel here, but we do have some breaking news when it comes to the Tampa Bay Lightning. A big thank you to Coach Michele Woods-Baxter for joining us on the program. Again, I saved the entire interview, so we will upload the entire interview later on the channel, but we do have some breaking news here on the Recher podcast. Tampa Bay Lightning have made a move, and that is a familiar face coming back to the Bolts. No, not Steven Stamkos, but former Lightning winger, former MVP of the National Hockey League when he was with the Anaheim Ducks, and it is Corey Perry. Corey Perry traded, it looks like, for a second-round pick back to the Tampa Bay Lightning. I gotta admit, I'm surprised. I'm surprised about this move when it comes to Perry, because one thing that we know about this team is that They want to be tough to play against. They want to be able to skate, and he's not one of those guys that's the most fleetest of foot. But let's break this down. My initial reaction is I'm not thrilled, to be honest with you, because I still think they need more. But let's look at it like this. Hold on, breaking news. Corey Perry back. All right, we're touching on this now. Your initial reaction, and I think a lot of initial reaction for a lot of people is not thrilled. They want a bigger move. They've already moved on from him. This is going to guarantee that they lose in the final. That's not nice. Listen, I'm going to tell you a couple things, right, about Corey Perry. Is that Perry is one of those guys that he is so well respected around the National Hockey League. Like you see, even after, and this is one of those deals that people on the surface are not going to really appreciate, but people in the game are going to understand why this move was made, right? And this is tough. This is one of those where on the surface, you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, God dang, this guy, think about this. Corey Perry is 12 days younger than me. He's going to be 41 this year. I just thought about that earlier today, that I'm going to be 41. Very, very depressing. Yes, I'm making this about me. I don't care about Corey Perry. I do care about Corey Perry. I'm just kidding. We're both going to be 41 in May. Here's the thing about Perry, though, is that you're bringing in a guy that is going to help you in a couple of areas. One, the leadership that he brings. This is a guy that when he goes into the room, he instantly gives your locker room credibility. Not that they needed it, but he's just a guy that's been there. He's done that. He's been through the wars of a long and tenuous NHL postseason. He's played for a long time. He's a winner. He's a former MVP. He is going to be welcome back with open arms into that Tampa Bay Lightning dressing room. And remember, it just looked like a couple of days ago that Corey Perry was going to stay with the LA Kings. But now I think they go to him and go, what about the Bolts? He goes, all right, maybe I'll change my mind, because he loved it here. He really did. Tight with Pat Maroon, tight with all the guys that are still here with the team when he was here. But this also makes your fourth line tougher to play against. Remember, that's the big thing. It's about being tougher to play against. And we know, even at his age right now, he's a grinder. And he's a guy that is not afraid to stick his nose in there and to go and battle. He knows he's not going to play 18 to 22 minutes a night. He's going to be happy with that fourth line role. So I got no issue with that, because what's going to happen is when everybody gets healthy, you're going to have him on rather a third or a fourth line with Nick Paul, and whether it's a Gonsalves or a Bjorkstrand. Again, I don't think the Lightning are done making moves, but he's going to be in that bottom six. And he's been known to score some big goals, whether that's in the regular season or whether that's in the postseason. Also, he gives you an option on the power play. Now, the power play would have to adjust a little bit, because the way he plays the power play is he's more of a net front presence where he's deflecting pucks from the point. I could see him scoring goals with, all right, Kucherov setting up a guy like Darren Radish, and then Perry chips the puck in front. Well, right now, the way that they utilize their power play, it's not necessarily like that, because you have Gensel down low, kind of on the side, and then you have the bumper position with Braden Point. You have to be able to give teams different looks out there. Is he going to play out wide in the quote-unquote Steven Stamkos office position? I don't think so. And it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to go on that first power play unit, but most definitely he'll be on that second power play unit. I don't hate this deal for the Bolts. Is the price a little steep? This is a seller's market. So it was going to take a deal like that. It was going to take a second round pick. But again, if you look at the Lightning and their draft picks, that second round pick is going to be almost a third round pick, because you would probably think that they're going to be, a team that's going to be in contention. So we know how Julien Brisebois values those picks. He looks at it and he goes, what am I really going to get from that guy? What am I really going to get from that draft pick? What is the guarantee? You don't know. You don't know. He knows. I remember him telling us during one of the fireside chats about 2 or 3 years ago, he says, Jay, the 30, it was something to the effect of the 30th pick in the first round of the draft on average gets you 155 to 185 NHL regular season games. And I'm just like, who the hell comes up with that? How the hell do you compute that? But I guess it's pretty easy, because you probably take that pick over the last 10 to 20 years and the average of the guy that goes in that spot, and then you compare that to the value of the actual known entity that you're going to bring in via the trade. And if you know that second round pick, which is going to be a lot worse of a value than that first round pick he told us a couple of years ago, is going to give you, let's say on average, 75 to 100 NHL games of mediocre play, or you could get a guy like Corey Perry, I think it makes sense in a weird way. This is one of those where you have to unpack. Don't just look at the surface level of this deal. People say, oh, a second round pick is pretty high value. Is it? This is one of those things that the Lightning kind of have. They don't have a bunch of first round picks. I don't hate it. I don't. Because you're bringing in a guy, again, like Corey Perry, that has the experience. He's been here before. You need some of that grit. You need some of that sandpaper. And this is a personality. And you'd have to think that this could be it for him. And if he's going to end his career, what kind of a story would that be? Again, I said this yesterday. That's why we love sports. You can't script things like this. Nobody said 24 hours ago, Corey Perry to the Lightning. Earlier this week, what did we say about the Bolts? Julien Brisebois makes moves that nobody sees coming. Go look Frank Saravalli or Elliot Friedman or any of these other guys. Who was linking Corey Perry to the Bolts? Nobody. 24 hours ago, Corey Perry was staying in LA. And listen, he probably was, because I doubt that Corey Perry himself 24 hours ago thought that the Tampa Bay Lightning were a possibility. Think about that. Think about that. That is how Julien Brisebois moves. He's like the G in lasagna. He moves in silence, that guy. He's incredible. And we'll hear from Julien Brisebois a little bit later on today. We heard from the Lightning before any of the moves were made that he was going to speak to the media after all was said and done. And I give Julien a lot of credit. He's just one of those guys that's very open and honest and transparent and gives us everything that, if he doesn't want to tell us, he won't tell us, but he'll at least give us the opportunity to have that conversation. Brandon McHugh, give me Geeky Bjorkstrand in the first and a small ad for Dawson Mercer and Simone Nemec to call it a day. You're not going to bring in a guy like Simone Nemec and not send a defenseman out if you're a team like the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like, if you're going to bring in, and I said this earlier, you can't. You have a lot of guys right now. When you're talking about a defenseman, and it's different if you're bringing in, like, I know he went somewhere else, but if you brought in a Luke Shen, you're bringing in one of those back end of the blue line type of guys, then you don't necessarily have to move somebody out. But if you're going to bring in a guy that's going to cost you a hefty price, you're anticipating him to play 18 to 22, if not more, minutes a night. And who is he going to replace? Because right now, as we speak, it's Moser, Radish, McDonough, Chernak, Hedman, and then Bestu, Lilleberg, or the aforementioned Nemec, or one of these other guys. You have to understand those type of things. Oh, Carrick, I'll get to this before we get to Deandra, because I feel your pain. Hi, Jay. Hope you're doing good. I know you're a United fan, and this is off topic, but what do you think of the Tottenham situation? I'm a Tottenham fan, and we're going down, no doubt about it. You're not going down. You're not as bad as some of these other teams. You're going to find a way. There's too much talent on that club to be able to send you guys down to the championship, but it's going to be scary for the rest of the time. Bjorkstrand and Geeky for Connor McDavid. I'm sure that Edmonton is going to be all over that one. Who's all over it? We know who's all over it. It's our good friend. Now she's not only over the Tampa Bay Lightning, but also the Tampa Bay Rowdies as well. It's our good friend Deandra Loux. What's up, D. Lou? How do you do?
Hi, guys. I am good. I text you full transparency. I hopped on early because I forgot that we were going at 12:30 instead of 12.
You wanted.
What did I text you?
You said it's 12. I said 12:10. You're like, I don't know if I can make it. Can we push to 12:30? I said done. And then I signed on today at 12:02, and I go, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna wait for her to text me and remember that she said 12:30. We're good.
I text you. I said, hopefully a trade will happen by 12:30, and I think 5 minutes later it was like Corey to Tampa. Have to say, did not expect that one. You don't really expect any. You kind of know which pieces might get moved, type of thing. I feel like when you're covering the Lightning, it's like I kind of know maybe where the needs are, but you never really know for sure like who's coming this way. Like you said, like Yanni Gourde wasn't one that I expected really last year. Kind of heard it a little bit, but I didn't know if Julian would go there. Obviously it worked out really well getting Yanni back, but Corey Perry is not one that I expected, but he is still performing at a high level. He can score, obviously. He's got the one-timer. I guess they could put him on the power play. I'm interested to see how this kind of plays out. Also, I think he's obviously familiar with the team, the culture, the coaches, like all of that. They can kind of slide him in. But yeah, no, didn't expect this one to come through at all.
11 goals this year for Corey Perry, 459 for his career, you know, a surefire, future Hall of Famer. This is a guy that has, been experienced in the NHL, experienced with the Tampa Bay Lightning, 4 power play goals this year, 11 points on the power play totally. And yeah, I'm with you. I was saying this before you hopped on, the way he performs on the power play, it's different than the way that the Lightning have utilized their power play this year. He's not a guy that's going to be out wide one-timing it on the power play. He can do it, but he's around the net. He's the guy that's around the net. He's going to tip shots in. We saw that on the second power play unit during his first time here, but he also got some time in the first because he's a movable chess piece for John Cooper. And, at once in a while, they'll kick him up there with Point and Kucherov. Obviously he can't skate with them all the time, but at certain games, if you need to kind of switch it up a little bit, like we saw last night where Yanni Gourde got some time with the guys up there. Corey Perry is going to be a guy that I think John Cooper is going to love to have back in that locker room, not just off the ice, but on the ice as well. Yeah,
he's a playoff guy too. Like, I think that makes a difference. I don't know. This is like an interesting, I feel like I'm gonna have to sit here and process this one and go through his stats and see, like, I'm still waiting on them to pick up somebody for faceoffs. Like there's obviously going to be moves coming after this. What does he make? Like $2 million a year? I didn't even have a chance to really look up everything yet. So that money has to go out. Someone's getting moved. There's going to be more shifts coming. But I'm interested to see what they do. A lot of the old former players are back, which is, like you said, honestly, he is a character guy and he adds that kind of like grittiness to the locker room. So I mean, he does bring that back. But again, like I keep going back to how different the team is this year. Not what I expected at all.
They're not done though, right? I mean, I feel that same way. I don't, as far as how like putting guys on IR, like that's the thing. The cap is such a crazy thing where it gets formulated every single day. It's tough to kind of tell where they're at, and I'm gonna look it up here right now. But
think about it though, Jay, like right now they're short on forwards, like, and
they are.
They can just throw in there like Corey Perry. You can put in today, tomorrow, and he'll be able to play. Like there is no real transition period. It's the same as Yanni Gourde when he came back. He's like kind of just was like, yeah, this is not difficult for me. It takes me a few games and I'll be back to where I was. And Corey Perry it'll be the same thing. Like they can just pick up and keep it moving.
Well, the thing is with them is that being that they have Nick Paul, Max Scherzer, and Dominic James on IR, that has opened up about $3.1 million for cap space for them. So that for them can kind of help right now when it comes to a guy like Corey Perry. But we know Nick Paul, he's day to day. We know Crozier and Dominic James are going to be out for a while. So we'll see what kind of moving and shaking. And Julien Brisebois, above everything else, I mean, this is a guy that's a capologist, right? So if there's anybody that knows how to matriculate the salary cap, it's JBB, isn't it?
Yeah, no, this is a complicated year with the injuries, and everything has kind of changed anyways, but with the injuries and where the timing of when they happened, it doesn't give you a clear picture of what the team's going to look like, if they make the playoffs. Like it's an interesting trade deadline, and with Dominic James out, and he was really starting to make a difference on faceoffs. Like he was kind of becoming that guy. So I think it's just an interesting time, but I definitely more moves to come for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we're talking about coming in, but I'm also just wondering, and I said this last night after the game, I really like the guy. He's a nice dude, but just this Oliver Bjorkstrand situation just hasn't worked with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and he gets chances too, D. It's not like he's invisible out there. He gets chances, and you saw it the other night. He had a breakaway, and then last night he gets multiple chances, and he just shoots the puck right smack dab in the middle of the logo of Connor Hellebuck or whoever is between the pipes, and he's gotten opportunities. He continues to get chances there on the first power play unit. They put him up with different guys, and it hasn't worked out. We are less than 2.5 hours away from the NHL deadline. Again, it's 3 p.m. Eastern. Do you think Oliver Bjorkstrand could be on his way out? Do you think we possibly have seen his last game in a Lightning uniform?
I mean, I definitely thought Bjorkstrand was or is a factor heading into this trade deadline. I think, sometimes you see guys come into this locker room and you can kind of feel it from the beginning. There's a set culture and a set way to play, and you can kind of see like whether or not guys are going to work out or not. I feel like pretty early on, maybe it's just me, but kind of noticed that like with Tanner Jeannot is a perfect example. I know, they had high hopes for Bjorkstrand. Obviously the numbers don't lie here in this situation and where they need him. So it really like depends on what other teams want. Do you know what I mean? Like the Lightning could say, yeah, this isn't working and we're going to move him. But like, does another team, what else are they going to ask for if you're sending Bjorkstrand and then who else, So I don't think it's a matter of maybe what the Lightning want to do. It's like, it takes two teams to tango. So maybe I know the fans are like very dialed in on this specifically, but like, if they don't move Bjorkstrand at the deadline, they have to understand like, they could have tried, they could have packaged something up, but maybe it's not what other teams want at this moment or need. So it's hard to say what's going to happen, but definitely hasn't panned out the way that they wanted, because 5-on-5 is most important to them no matter what. Doesn't matter. And right now it's not producing 5-on-5. Like got some power play goals, not producing 5-on-5. And that is the main emphasis for this team, for Julien Brisebois.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you're right. It's not like they have to get rid of him. Right. And that's the one thing where he's not killing them to the point where like he's turning the puck over and he doesn't show effort, and he's not a liability. He's just not a guy that is, a 20-25 goal scorer that we thought he could excel with this team. I mean, even now, you would still think like going back in time, like I don't know if anybody looked at that deal and said, well, that's not going to work out. Like I think it is a little bit of a surprise that he hasn't had more success, because we've seen guys have, success when they've played with Kucherov and Point, and when they've played with Cirelli and Hagel, and regardless of whoever he's playing with, it just hasn't worked out for Oliver Bjorkstrand. What did you make of the game last night? I mean, it was obviously tough to watch, and I've been telling people, hey, just relax, because it's probably going to get a little worse before it gets better, because there's just so many struggles for this team. I don't think it's really any long-term, cause for concern, but it certainly isn't pretty to watch. That's for sure.
No, I mean, it's definitely like what Coop said. It reminds me of the beginning of the season. Like, it just is like copy and paste of what we saw at the beginning of the season. I don't think it's reason for like panic at all. I think the Lightning have never been like coming back from breaks. That's just never really been their thing.
No, never.
Ever. If you followed this team for the past decade, you know that it just isn't really their thing. I will say, like, they're practicing hard during the Olympics when they came back. Like the practices were tough. And I actually did think this year they would maybe have a few bumps, but like kind of find their way back, because they were playing at such a high level before the break. But we've seen what it looks like. But I'm not worried. Like, you know how it is. I mean, it's they've dealt with injuries all season and have worked their way through it. So it's not that, right? They can manage that piece of it. A lot of it, I think, is just like a mindset situation and a chemistry. Yeah. I mean, they got it, but it's really like a mental thing to me when I look at this team, and same from the beginning of the season. So they'll work through that. We'll see what they get at the deadline today. Again, like, I'm interested to see what other moves are coming. Didn't expect the Corey Perry one, so can't even speak on what I see coming this way, honestly.
We'll get back to hockey in a second. I wanted to ask you about your new gig with the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Very, very happy about that. And I'm sure I'll see you a ton. If I didn't see enough for hockey, I'll definitely see enough for Rowdy soccer too. Just tell us how this kind of came to fruition and what your new role is going to be with the club.
Yeah, so I will be this works out perfectly for me. It kind of runs March and April are going to be very busy for me, because obviously with the playoffs for the Lightning and the Rowdy season starting this month. I think the first home game is the 21st of March for the Rowdies. So it will be a little bit of a crazy couple months for me, but it's perfect, because depending on how far the Lightning go, then I'll have the Rowdies all the way through. And so it's a good scheduling wise, like, this is perfect, but I'm really excited. This is a big year for the Rowdies. A lot of new players, and just overall kind of just like the organization is doing kind of a refresh. So we bumped up the broadcast team and the content team, and I'll be a part of both sides of that. So sideline, and then doing some content on social media and things like that. And obviously I graduated from USF. Like, I love this area so much. I have no intentions of leaving. So kind of just an opportunity for me to kind of like ground my roots here even more. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm really happy to join the team.
Yeah, and it's a perfect fit too. And I want to give a shout out to our good buddy Jeff Attinella, who is really, I mean, just you could see the presence on social media. It's really taking a turn, in a positive direction. And it's a new day for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, no doubt, with Dominic Cassiato taking over last year. And now him having a full preseason under his belt. And I had Lewis Hilton, a longtime midfielder, the OG, on the show yesterday. And very exciting. Again, go to rowdysoccer.com for all the information. They do a lot of great things in the community, junior Rowdies, little Rowdies. Sign your little ones up today, and you can get your tickets. Again, season ticket packages, everything's on there. Rowdysoccer.com. All right, back.
You want to add, Jay, too? It's like,
go ahead.
The players, like, I hope to see a lot of Lightning fans too, kind of following the Rowdies, and I'm really hoping for the crossover. I think there's the players, and the Rowdies have a lot of new players this season, but I was in there with Jeff a couple weeks back, and like, there's some character guys in that room, and I think one of the goals that we have is just to kind of introduce the players to the fans and the community, so that you can get to know them, as human beings. So we're really excited to do that. And I do hope that Lightning fans kind of follow along with that as well.
Yeah, we'll continue to put that message out there. So very, very exciting to to have you part of that group. And you're right, Lewis was saying that to me yesterday. He was saying, Jay, there's some characters on this team, and we're trying to get out there. And I'm like, all right, can't wait. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
There's some funny guys on that team. So we're definitely gonna be highlighting them.
I love it. Any deal from the NHL trade deadline really stand out to you so far?
I just feel like overall Minnesota is going all in, and I mean, they're not like, they're very serious. I will say, like, I've had this conversation before. I'm like, Minnesota, before the Olympic break, I was like, I don't think enough people are talking about Minnesota, and I fear that they are going to be that team. If you want to get to the cup, like, you're going to have to beat them. They're built a good team, and then seeing what they're doing at the deadline. Also, Buffalo is going all in as well, which if you would have asked me last year, I wouldn't have predicted this. But one thing I will say about the playoffs is, like, pedigree is important when you're going to playoffs. So it doesn't really matter what kind of team. You could look at Ottawa last year, like, had a strong regular season, got into the playoffs, couldn't get anywhere. So I think pedigree is really important. Experience is important in the playoffs. You're not just going to get through the Stanley Cup playoffs. So we'll see what Buffalo does. But I would say at the deadline, those are two teams I'm watching. Also was interesting to see Florida and Toronto become sellers. Like,
it's so crazy, right? When you look at the bottom of the Atlantic Division and see Toronto and Florida, my God.
I was like waiting. I thought for sure Florida. I'm like, but I mean, it was clear coming out of the break that Florida, the players were kind of just like done. A lot of Panthers fans were just, like, yelling at me and my
still.
Oh my God, Jay!
I thought they disappeared. They're going to go back into their cave eventually, right?
Oh yeah, they were coming for me, but I'm just like, it was very interesting to see that they became sellers. Their players, like, kind of just, it seemed like they all kind of checked out. And I just remember when the Lightning went on their 3 cup runs, like, they were still equally as determined, fatigued, exhausted, yes, but like equally determined. They wanted to get back at it. So anyways.
It's so funny too, because, like, I always say, like, all right, back to your parents' basement, but in Miami, it's probably back to your parents' outdoor patio furniture for you Florida Panthers fans that all of a sudden just started. Oh, well, I know you saw that thing on social media the other day. I think it was in response to your tweet about Nikita Kucherov. Yeah, they stashed him for 54 games or whatever like that. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I remember watching. I went to practice one day because, if you go early enough to the arena, sometimes you'll see something. And I was out there with Nikita Kucherov, and my man was looking like absolute dog crap. He couldn't skate. He was miserable. And Cooch, he's not one of those guys to fake it. He was he couldn't move. He was like, I've never before then to this day seen him look so freaking uncoordinated and so uncomfortable. So when people are like, oh yeah, he wasn't hurt, blah, blah, I'm like, bro, you have no idea what you were talking about, because I just saw that with my own eyes.
What are you talking about? I can't. Just also, I mean, I really don't want to hear any team complain about injuries at this point in time. Like, save it somewhere. Anyways, I muted everything, so I don't really see. But
good for you.
You know what happens, Jay, though? I'll be scrolling and it'll pop up on my main feed and it'll be somebody like quote tweeting me. I'm like, I got to mute everything.
I want to ask you about that too, because, today it is International Women's Day, and well, not today, it's Sunday. But this is something, and I've talked to you about this for many, many years, how important it is for me to be an advocate for women, not just in sports, but in life. I mean, I'm a guy that grew up, my dad worked 3 jobs, and the majority of my young life was my mom, my grandma, my 2 sisters. And then now, 4 of my nieces, and they're all into sports. They're all into doing things. And I always look at somebody like you and Gabby Shirley and Julie and just everybody. I mean, Sarah Walsh, I spoke to this morning, Carmen Vitale this morning. And just, you gals are the ones that my nieces are going to look up to as much as they love Uncle Jay. My niece, Sydney, who is probably going to be involved in sports, she's going to look at Deandra Loux as the hockey news writer and the sideline reporter for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And you can influence her to achieve and to, look into a career in sports, even if she isn't a professional athlete. What have you noticed from your role as a woman in this sports industry that is still male dominated? And unfortunately, you have misogynistic bull crap that you have to deal with on social media. But, I think you have a very unique perspective, because I think you've kind of seen it change a little bit. I think I don't want to put words in your mouth. I think it's gotten better, but I still think that there's more room that needs to grow.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the best way to kind of thrive as a woman working in this business. One, I feel very lucky covering the Lightning because I'm in like a very safe, protected space. I hear stories.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hear stories from, people around the league, and I'm like, I don't even have to deal with that. And I'm really grateful. And I'm grateful for Coop because obviously like having a great head coach makes such a difference. Actually, I've heard stories of Erin Andrews talking about when she worked for the Lightning and Torts was head coach. And it was just like, it was nice to have a head coach that will equally listen to what you have to say, listen to your questions, acknowledge them, all of that. So start off by saying that. I will say, like, I guess it maybe has gotten better from where it was, but I mean, the bar was pretty low before. So I think for me, I try not to think about being a woman. I love covering this team. I love hockey. I'm really excited for the Rowdies, and I just try to do a really good job because I think like you get a lot. I mean, people have seen my social media. It is a disaster over there. But when you're doing a really good job and you're working really hard and you're genuinely trying to do the right thing, I think that just kind of like, it makes you just block out everything. Like anyone can say whatever they want to me, but I know for me, like, I know I'm doing a good job. I know I'm working hard. I cover the team. I think I do a good job covering the team, and I try to be ethical and do everything the right way. So I feel like that's the best way, is just like outwork everybody. That's like the number one thing. You got to be able to outwork, and then don't internalize people who project onto you,
Yeah, that's a great point. And you did a really good story last week or 2 weeks ago on the Ryan Callahan Foundation. I wanted to ask you about that because you were there, and it was just such an incredible cause, and what Ryan and Kyla do to raise money for these families affected by pediatric cancer. It's just, again, it just hits you right in the feels. And I'm so motivated to continue to work with them and to even want to do more as the years go by. But your first experience being at that incredible gala, what did you think?
Well, I think the biggest thing that stood out to me is, obviously I did a call with Kyla for that story that I put out. Kyla is Callie's wife, and she runs the foundation. Like, that is her full-time gig. And she basically, like, that is her life, And so I did, like, I would say Kyla and I chatted for like 45 minutes or longer. Which is a long time for an interview, but she just had so much to give. And she went into like the process and everything. One thing that I noticed is, she connected me with one of the families who was there, his mom, and they were there that night. And the Callahan Foundation, the Ryan Callahan Foundation, has helped them so much through this process. And King rang the bell and everything. So he's in a really good place, but they helped them financially. And Kyla she kind of touched on it, but didn't tell me. And then when she connected me with their family, and the mom is telling me everything that they've done, bought them Christmas gifts, groceries, paid their mortgage, paid their car payment. They lost one of their cars, and the Callahans were out of the country, and she reached out to Kyla, and within the hour, like, her car payment was made. And so she didn't lose their second car. So things like that people don't think about, that are so basic, like paper towels, laundry detergent, all those things add up, and they're so expensive. And especially when you're going through something like this. And I don't know, it was just a very eye-opening experience to hear all of the little things that they did that maybe they didn't talk about. So I could only put so much into that story. I could do more. I told Kyla, like, I'll do more. Yeah. You got to tell me when. So it was a great event.
Yeah. Special people. I mean, for such an incredible cause. And yeah, again, RyanCallahanFoundation.org. If you guys can help out in any way, please do, because you can always contribute throughout the year. You don't have to wait for the gala either. The Hockey News and the Tampa Bay Rowdies new sideline reporter, the one and only Deandra Loux. Follow her on all social media platforms. But if you're mean, then don't follow her. Or maybe follow her. Just don't.
If you're mean, you're getting muted. So
if you're mean, you're hashtag. If you're mean, you're muted. That's
you're muted. Actually, Jay, that is going to be my new.
If
slogan.
You're mean, you're muted. If you're mean, you're muted. I like it. You're mean, you're muted. Just do you're mean, you're muted. There you go.
I'll have Lightning fans. They'll DM me and they're like, "I'm so sorry that you're having to deal with this." I'm like, "Oh, I don't even see it." I'm like, "Don't even worry about it."
You're mean, you're muted. I love it. Deandra, keep up the great work. Thank you so much. Happy International Women's Day, and I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Jay. I'll see you soon.
All right, take care. The one and only Deandra Loux from the Hockey News. Just incredible writer and one of the most important members of our Tampa Bay Lightning media here. And it's so great to be able to see her get those opportunities and this brand new opportunity with the Tampa Bay Rowdies as the sideline reporter. And listen, you guys know me. You know how important it is for me to highlight everything here locally. And just the Rowdies. I think we're in store for a big season. Last year, it was weird. It was just one of those years where nothing was working. And no matter what players were out there, what coach, because I had 3 different coaches out there, it really didn't matter. It's just sometimes you just got to move on and you just got to kind of turn the page and the calendar year and something new happens. And I think 2026 is going to be much better for our Rowdies. Before we get to our good friend Tracy West from the Valspar Championship, our tournament director, we'll get to her here in a second. But I want to tell you guys real quick about our friends, of course, our main sponsors here on the program. Honest Hammer Custom Builders LLC, our guy Russ right here, our guy. If you need any work, residential or commercial, he can help you out. 813-244-0956. All your residential and commercial needs. General contractor CGC 153-1166. He's a member of Team Tampa Bay, just like you, a graduate of USF. This guy bleeds green and gold. And I was at the job site last week in St. Pete. Just an incredible new build. If you have a plot of land and you're like, hey, I want a custom home. I want a home built to my specifications. This is the guy. And he'll walk you through the entire process. Give him a call. You get a discount if you mention the Recher podcast. You don't just deal with somebody that is working on your house. It's your home. It's a place that you want to be for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years with you and your family. You want to be able to trust your contractor and your builder. And you hear all these horror stories for contractors, and Russ is not that guy. He'll talk you through the entire process. He's going to be honest and transparent the entire time. Give him a shot. Again, 813-244-0956, thehonesthammer.com. Shoot him an email, thehonesthammer@gmail.com. Tell him that you heard it right here on the Recher podcast. There you go. He's right there. Boom. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. And then, of course, EverHealth. EverHealth.org, 17 different locations in Pinellas County. EverHealth is just absolutely incredible. They're kind of that new cutting edge of when it comes to healthcare, sliding scale for the uninsured. They take all kinds of insurance. And the EverHealth Institute, I can't say enough nice things about a place that has a school right there at that High Point location where you can get that hands-on learning. And then after you're done with school, you go right across the street and you can work at their medical facility there or one of the other hospitals or medical facilities here in the Tampa Bay area and beyond. And it reminds me so much of the broadcasting school that I went to, 14 years ago now, and it changed my life. So if you're looking for somebody that is looking for a change, right? They don't want just a job. They want a career. Check out EverHealth, everhealth.org, the EverHealth Institute. Again, they want to work with you from the cradle to the grave. I go there and see Dr. Carlos Rodriguez, who joins us for our injury report every Thursday at 12:30 here on the program. It's a game changer. It really is. And I don't have people on the show, and I don't partner up with people and businesses and organizations that I don't trust and that I don't vet. And these are two, with Honest Hammer and EverHealth, just absolutely incredible people that are there. We have conversations not just about our show, but just about daily life. You heard it yesterday with Dr. Rodriguez. He's going to play in a baseball tournament down at Fort Myers. So I'll be texting with him over the weekend to make sure that he doesn't injure himself. He's no spring chicken. I told him, you got to take it easy, buddy. Don't be pulling any muscles. because if you do, that'll be the first topic of conversation on the Ever Health Injury Report. Again, every Thursday at 12:30 right here on the Jay Recher podcast. No other moves as of right now when it comes to the NHL trade deadline. A little bit of a quiet. It seems like it's going to be the calm before the storm. Again, the 3:00 trade deadline is quickly approaching. What else is quickly approaching is one of my favorite weekends of the year. And it's not just the weekend, it's the whole week. It has been, again, I can't say enough nice things about everything that goes on with the Valspar, but we'll bring in our good friend, the tournament director, Tracy West. Tracy, what's going on? How are you?
Hey, Jay, I'm doing fantastic, especially with only being a week and a half out. I'm doing great.
It's unbelievable. And I almost get choked up talking about it because, I think about, I got on with WDA back in 2014. And my first experience with the Valspar was being a producer for the late, great Steve Dumig. And the big dog he took so much pride into going there. Even at his age, he did not like to do a ton of remotes. He went to the casino and then he went out to you guys, and he loved it. I remember him speaking to Matt Kuchar all these years ago, and I think it was him and I, and we spoke to Akshay Bhatia one year, and man, it was just so cool to be able to see how much it meant to him, knowing how much he loved golf. And it just stuck with me. It stuck with me the entire time. I've gone every year. I broadcast it from there. My parents fly down every year. Tracy, my parents bought their tickets to Tampa from New York like 8 months ago because they are just locked in. My dad loves walking around the 8th green on Fridays. He loves it. And just to let you know, the Recher family is just as excited. How great is it to know that we plan, and I know you plan all year round, but we're inching closer to that date.
We are. Well, thank you so much for the kind words. And I love that your family loves coming here and that you love coming here. And we do miss the big dog a lot. That's for sure. Yeah. So yeah, we are fast approaching. We're getting ready. Everything is in great stead. So the golf course looks amazing. I think you were here media day, correct? Yep. Amazing. The greens, the rough, it's going to kill these guys. No question. So the Copperhead's in great shape. Our build is spectacular. Ticket sales they're flying, folks. So especially on Saturday. So get moving if you're going to come, to the Valspar Championship. Ton of sponsors. We're going to have a great week.
We always do. When we go there. And you're right. I didn't get a chance to see you on media day. We were just like two ships in the night. Every time you walk past, I was in the middle of a conversation with like Bob Herrick. And then I turned around and you walked past the other way. It was the funniest thing. I probably my happiest media day because I did birdie 8 and 15, which I was over the moon of. I almost holed out on the 8th. On 15, first shot of the day. And I was about 2.5 inches from the hole. It was one of the best golf shots of my life. You
should be pretty impressed because the course is really difficult right now.
I don't say anything else. I don't talk about any other hole that I played that day because the rough is amazing. I thought I hit a couple of good shots, and that's and Tracy, you can speak about on this about as much as anybody. When the tour pros, when these guys come here and they talk about how difficult the course is, it's not a difficult course to the point of like they hate playing here. You can tell it challenges them. And it's like, man, this is such a good part, the end of kind of the Florida swing here where it gets them and it catapults these guys for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, the Copperhead is by far their favorite golf course on the Florida swing. And it's really, a lot of people will talk about and describe a golf course. Okay, is it a bomber's course? This is a shot maker's course, which basically means you're not at any great advantage coming and playing the Copperhead if you're just bombing it, right? You have to place the ball here, no question. And for them, that's probably pretty different, from the other Florida swing courses. So it's a great prep for them, especially the ones that are playing in the Masters and so forth. Not comparing ourselves to Augusta National, mind you, but it's probably the closest that they're going golf course style wise that they're going to play before the Masters. So they love playing here because of that perspective.
ValsparChampionship.com, all the information on there. I mean, the musical acts. I mean, you got Tyler Hubbard and Lee Bryce. Tyler Hubbard, obviously, a lot of people remember him from his time with Florida Georgia Line, but an incredible singles career. I mean, you guys crush it on that Saturday night where that ticket gets you entry into the concert there. That Saturday is such a huge coup for people, and Saturdays are absolutely nuts. I mean, what goes into the selection of the music process? And I mean, you guys lock that in pretty early too, every year.
We do. The very first year that we started the concert, we started with country, and it was just a huge success. So we've stuck with country the whole time. Now, mind you, I have several board members along with a general chairman that probably is like, hey, maybe we could branch out and do something different than country. But I'm like, hey, as long as I'm your tournament director and it's working, we're not messing with it. So yeah, we basically, it's a process. We work actually with the stellar Bobby Rossi from Ruth Eckerd Hall.
Oh yes,
and yeah, world famous from a concert production standpoint. And we just kind of see who's available, who's within our budget, and we start the process. Gosh, we start the process usually in April, right after the tournament.
I love that. It's funny. I met Bobby Rossi many, many years ago when I worked with Ron Diaz, and I've never met somebody that so casually put in like multi-platinum recording artists into conversation. Like it was just, just Bon Jovi was talking about Ron. Yeah, I was like, wait a second, what did you just say? He's just so casual, and I'm like, okay, like yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah, wonderful. Like I just talked to him last week. Unbelievable. What about the connections? I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. You kind of mentioned him there. I mean, you get a guy like Rondé Barber, and he's such a huge part of this entire thing. It just his role has grown, and I love to see that because he's a guy that after his playing his career really just he set the roots down here. And one of the biggest things he's known for now post playing career is with the Copperheads and this championship. And I know how much it means to you. It means a ton, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, he's a legend, right? Not only from his Buccaneers career, but as you said, really a community ambassador now. He loves Tampa Bay, raised his family here. It's, he's never leaving. And he loves golf, probably loves golf as much as football, and is a very good player in his own right. He's a single-digit handicap. And really, he didn't really during his playing career know much about the Valspar Championship. I mean, obviously it was different titles back then and so forth. But as soon as he retired, we asked him to get involved and just like help us host a dinner one time. And that really got him excited and knowing and understanding that the Valspar Championship was more than just a professional PGA golf tournament, right? It's for charity. I mean, we're owned and operated by Copperhead Charities, which is a 501c3 in the area. And once he understood really the mission of hosting, obviously, the best professional golf tournament that we can on the PGA Tour, but raising as much money for charity as we can. The economic impact that we have about a $75 million annual economic impact into the area via all the people that come from outside of the Tampa Bay region to watch the tournament, all the room nights that are generated in Pinellas and Hillsborough County, all the vendors and everyone that we hire, locally as much as we can. So huge economic impact, obviously a big boost for tourism, because of the 220 countries that were broadcast in on NBC Sports and Golf Channel and the international distribution. And then, as I said, the charitable impact. We're really proud that over the 50-year history of the tournament, we've already surpassed 49 years, because this is our 50th coming up. We've surpassed $52 million to charity. So I think when Rondé looked at all that, he's like, I got to be involved, and not just, a little. He dives in. We're really very lucky to have him involved. He's not just name only. The guy is involved in the strategic planning, every day-to-day thing that he wants to, weigh in on and be a part of. So, and then he's backed up by another 120 Copperheads, past him. Right. So we've got a great organization.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And you're right. It's not just a name thing. Oh, Rondé's around. He's front and center, and he's he's shaking hands, and he joins me every year. I'll probably get him on next week to preview the tournament again and to talk some Buccaneers football as well. And we'll talk about some of the other names, but one of the big names that's coming back this year, we're getting Brooks Koepka here, which is obviously, and to be completely transparent, when we see with the whole thing with Live Golf, my first thought process isn't about any of the other, whether it's political or anything. My first focus is the Valspar, right? What's that going to see? We're not going to, how is it going to impact us, and how is it going to impact us here locally? And, kudos to you guys for just continuing to stay strong, continuing to get those big names. And you see, the Jordan Spieths coming here, and you see Victor Hovland's coming here. But to get a guy like Brooks Koepka back, I mean, he is still one of the biggest names in golf. What is that process like? Because a lot of people don't know that kind of stuff, Tracy, with, him kind of reincorporating into the PGA. I mean, it's a big reason, not a big reason, but I think this is another added benefit of going to the Valspar this year is there's still an uncertainty. How is this going to work with him, reassimilating himself back into the PGA Tour? I know you guys are very happy to have him back here.
Yeah, we certainly are. I mean, Brooks was a beloved member of the PGA Tour when he left, and everyone that did leave had their different reasons for doing so, right, and so forth. But Brooks did it in a classy way. He never disparaged the PGA Tour. He never disparaged his playing time, at the tour. He had his reasons for doing it. But I think he realized that, hey, I'd like to be back on the PGA Tour. So, and he's really good friends with a lot of those guys. So they really welcomed him back with open arms. There's still, obviously there's still some players that he's got to win over, because there's some players that are, we're still not thrilled, with him that he left. But he's doing his darndest to individually work through each person. He's listening. So he's offered many times, if any PGA Tour player wants to talk to him about it, he's opened his mind and heart to, listening to them. So we're really excited to have him come back because he was always very gracious and was one of our loyal players that basically played us every year. And he did well here. His last year here was 2012 and he finished 12th, I believe. So he's consistently actually played really well here. So we're excited to have him back. But as you said, he's being joined by a tremendous field. Oh my gosh, we're excited. You mentioned Jordan Spieth. Obviously, we very feel very close to Jordan, as one of our past champs, and he's always been pretty darn consistent in playing us as well. We've got Patrick Cantlay. We've got Xander Schauffele. We've got, Akshay Bhatia. You mentioned he's coming back. We've got a lot of the young guns. So the three guys that graduated, if you will, from PGA Tour University. So Gordon Sargent, Luke Clanton, David Ford. They're actually all doing pretty well right now in Puerto Rico. So, which is the opposite field event right now this week. And a bazillion guys past that. I think we're up to 22 out of the world's top 50. And we're not done. They have until 5:00 on next week during the Players Championship in Jacksonville to commit. And then we also can have top 10s coming in out of Puerto Rico. So the field will be set, soon. And we expect some more big names coming. We're not done, Jay.
I know.
Another 5 or 6, but
I love that.
Yeah, current field list is always on ValsparChampionship.com. So anyone can go and take a look what the field looks like so far.
My dad doesn't get excited. Like I said this before, he had now 6 grandkids. My dad doesn't get excited by much now with his grandkids, but my dad loves Xander Schauffele. And when the first year they came and he was here, he's like, what? His ears perked up. I'm like, Dad, you weren't that happy when I graduated freaking broadcasting school. Like, what the heck, man? But yeah, it's an incredible time. It's beautiful. I'd implore anybody that's watching right now to go this year, even if it's just for one day. It's really the best of the best of just living in the Tampa Bay area. And you're right, when you were talking about Brooks, like guys coming back, and it's just so enjoyable. I mean, I think about just over the last 10 years, just some of the things, like the best memories of, like, Tiger played here, like Rob Gronkowski partied here, right? It's just like, isn't it? When you think back of like just all of the, of course the charitable stuff, but all that kind of the ambiance and the festivities, like it's been pretty crazy to think about all the different names that have walked through the course and walked through the field there, right?
Absolutely. And we're not done. We got fun stuff this year. So you're talking about Tampa Bay legends and so forth. So Jay, one of the newest things that we have this year is we took the kind of wooded area, if you will, between our ninth green and 10th tee and putting green. And it used to just kind of be an expo grove. This year we've turned it into a fan area called The Turn, hosted by Barstool Gruden. So our good friend John Gruden is hosting this area. We don't know which days he's going to be here, but he will be here. But this whole area will have celebrity appearances every day. So Rondé will be there every day. John will be there sporadically. We've got Brittany Lincecum will be there on Saturday and Sunday. We've got Joe Madden coming out. We've got Pat Maroon coming out. Derek Brooks coming out. Steve Griggs from the Lightning. Yes. You name it. So we'll post all this online once we have it all solidified. But it's kind of a celebrity appearance area, our fan shop, a huge Plinko board. Jay, did you ever watch? Did you ever watch Price is Right as a kid?
Of course, the Plinko board.
So the huge life-size Plinko board, not like when you buy on Amazon, like a Plinko board. And, you go up the steps and you're going to drop the little puck thing and it's going to bounce down and you can win discounts into the fan shop. We're going to have 9 huge screens showing college hoops. Can't say the other word, but college hoops.
Wow.
We're going to have, obviously, concession, big seating area, but back to John Gruden. So you know how he opens up all those boxes? How collegiate teams and pro teams send him boxes on social media, and he opens up and he's got a ton of, swag. I said to him one day, I'm like, what do you do with all that swag? And he's like, nothing. It's just piling up. I said, I want it all. I said, give it all to us. And he's like, okay, what are you going to do with it? So we have 1,000 items from him. And we're going to, in the turn, you can come up and make a donation. It's like either a $15 or $20 donation. I don't know what it is. I think it's a 20. And you make a donation, and there's going to be 4 buckets. And bucket 1 is hats. Bucket 2 is large outerwear. Bucket 3 is extra large outerwear. And then other. And you're going to get something. We're going to reach in and we're going to pull out something. Now, you might get an Oregon Ducks, jersey. You might get a Michigan State hat. You don't know what you're going to get, but you're going to get something. And it's one of those where remember as a kid, or what do you say as kids? You get what you get and don't be upset. That's going to be our motto. So you get what you got. You can go trade it with other fans if you want, but and we're going to raise a boatload of money for the Humane Society of Tampa Bay. So that's just one new fan area. But as you know, we've got it's the tournament. You buy a grounds ticket, right? You also can buy upscale hospitality, which of course is wonderful. But a grounds ticket at the Valspar Championship is you still feel like a VIP because we have so many areas, seating areas that are built up right on the greens and on the fairways. That you can sit in as well. So kind of everyone has a great view and feels like a VIP, at the Valspar Championship. And it's fun. It's great for families. Jay, 15 and under are free. I mean, what pro sport do you get to go to, bring your kids to, where they get in free? So kids 15 and under are free. We've got military discounts, first responder discounts. It's a great opportunity to come out as a family, big family fun zone, free popsicles for the kids, painting activities for the kids, games, you name it. We got it.
They've got it. They're all over it. Again, we'll be at the 8th green on Friday and then the 18th green on Sunday. That mom's like, all right, we've got it all. They've got it all planned out. They're looking kind of at the map. Like, should we go here? Should we go there? I think we're going to see Coach Steve Bradley in USF golf on Friday a little bit. So my parents, they're like they're both retired now. They're empty nesters. And now they're planning out their Valspar. Like they're planning a cruise to the Bahamas, looking at all these different things. If you want to be like Doug and Sue Recher, go to ValsparChampionship.com with all the information on there. She is the best. There's nobody better to chat with here on, as we celebrate International Women's Day on Sunday, a couple of days early than our good friend, the tournament director of the Valspar Championship, Tracy West. Tracy, continued success. You're one of my favorite people in the Bay Area, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, Jay. See ya.
See ya. The great Tracy West. She's amazing. She really is. And she's always been so great to me. And again, going back to when I used to cover the Valspar with the big dog, she's just, those are the type of people you want to surround yourself with. She's the right person. And we see that here in the Bay Area, the right people for the right jobs. And she's just, there's just a light that she has, and she's traveling all over the world. She's trying to bring attention to our area. And if you've ever gone to the Valspar, it's incredible. So you got to get in there. All right. Speaking of golf swings, the greatest segue in the history of the Jay Recher podcast, Tampa Bay Sun captain, friend of the program, Jordyn Listro. Jordy, I went Jordan usually. I'm going Jordy now. You posted a video the other day of the golf swing, my dear friends. All right. When your hubs is a professional golfer and you're a professional athlete, I was expecting, oh, wow, maybe it's going to be a career change here. And what's going on? Did Christian not give you a good, what's going on here with the golf swing, miss?
Okay. To be fair, I grew up in Toronto. Golf wasn't huge
We'll
there.
get to that in a little bit, Miss Canadian.
I'm not a Florida girl from the start, so I never
been here a long time. You've been here a long time.
Never saw a golf club until I met him, and I'm not very good. That's just what it comes down to. I hate practicing because I'm terrible. So I've accepted that I'm going to be terrible until I retire, and then maybe I'll take it up.
You're one of the most athletic people I know, and the fact that you can't swing a golf club was just, I only laugh because we're friends, because I was just like, it's so crazy to me, because if you would have said, give me anybody that that you don't know if they've played golf, but they could probably swing a golf club, you would be on that list.
A lot of people think that, and I really don't understand why. I actually said to my husband the other day, do you think I have a better chance of being on the LPGA tour or being on The Voice as a singer? And he's like, honestly, The Voice. And I'm a terrible singer, but that's how bad I am at golf. So.
Oh my God. That is love. That is love for sure. All right. So before we talk about the Sun, I was going to actually introduce you today, and I was going to play the, American national anthem in the background to kind of rub in the gold medals. But, I know it's been a rough couple of weeks for you and your Maple Leafs. I mean, are you still a hockey fan after what's gone on with you the last month and your teams?
Of course. I mean, I'll always be a hockey fan, and I'm American now too, so I can appreciate as well.
Come on over.
Teams. Obviously, I'm cheering for Canada first, but it's nice to see them win as well.
You are such a diplomatic answer. I love that. So what else is new? How are you other than the golf swing? How's everything going with you so far here in 20? Where the hell did the year go? It's already March. How's 2026 been for you?
It's been good so far. I think that we're starting to, find our stride in terms of the team, and we're putting good performances together, which is nice. And then we had a little 2-week break, but we've been playing some exhibition games just to stay sharp, and then, go into the rest of the spring and try and get back in the playoffs.
What's that like when you have that time off like that, and to really, because as professional athletes, you're creatures of habit, right? And then you get into it's like, all right, everything stops. How you personally, what do you do to kind of keep yourself in the groove and to make sure that you guys and your skills stay sharp?
Yeah, I think this break was a little different. I think our coaches looked at it a little different just because of the results that we had been getting in the fall. We're not where we want to be yet. So instead of just, giving us these 2 weekends off to recover, visit family or do something, we are playing exhibition games, which is nice, just to stay in the rhythm of it and make sure we don't lose any game fitness. But usually I would just do some technical training sessions with my technical trainers, not part of the team, and just try and stay sharp for those weekends and get ready for the next game.
What's it been like for you? I mean, obviously being one of the leaders of this team and seeing how much success you have and then kind of the struggles, like how do you, because this is something that, you're when you're out there on the pitch, you're one of those people that people are looking for. How do you kind of deal with some of those tough moments, when it's not going as swimmingly as it was in the beginning? Because it's easy to be the leader when things are going good and everybody gives you the praise, but people don't realize that there's another side of that coin, and that's where I think your true strength is shown.
Thanks. Yeah, it's hard. It's just kind of motivating everyone and making people believe that it's such a long season and anything can happen. Like we're lucky because we can look back at last year and we weren't, at the bottom of the table, but we weren't at the top. So, and we ended up winning. So I think that gives us a little bit of, confidence moving forward that, okay, we can still turn this around. We have time. We just need to take one game at a time.
What about the change in the roster, as far as like the roster and a lot of different girls going in and going out? What's that been like, kind of, seeing how much turnover that there's been?
It's hard, of course. I think the core of the team has remained the same, which has helped, and at least a couple players in each position. So, you're able to have a similar starting lineup with a couple additions here or there and changes. But yeah, the core of the team has been the same. And, everyone that our coaching staff has recruited, can't say this enough. They're just such great people. So it's really easy for them to like mesh with the group off the field. And then it's just putting it together on the field.
When you think about the championship, how often do you think about winning the championship last season?
I actually did a documentary with the league recently, and I was able to just watch the footage of the championship again. And
Was that the first time?
Yeah, probably. I haven't watched it in months. I probably watched it a couple weeks after, but I just get chills thinking about it. Like it was such a surreal moment, and it just makes me so excited as we go into this next stretch, because this is like when it really matters. And that's always the most fun.
I know I asked you this kind of like, a year ago or so. Do you, and I ask you today because, again, I couldn't have a show celebrating International Women's Day coming up on Sunday without you. You've been so gracious with your time. I can't thank you enough for joining me when I was back at WDAE and now here on the podcast. You've been one of my favorite guests and one of our, people that have been on the most. So I can't thank you enough for that. And I couldn't have a show like today without you on it. Do you sit back and realize on a day like today, or even just when you look out into the crowd and see all those young girls, do you realize that impact yet? Do you realize that there's going to be a little girl that, she's going to be inspired? It's not something that I hope is going to happen. It's something that I know it's going to happen. We're going to see a girl at USF here soon, if we don't already, and she's going to be like, well, yeah, I really got into soccer because of what Jordyn Listro did. Do you think about that impact that you have? I know it's kind of hard when you're actually in the moment.
No, I do. And I think as I get older, that's kind of what keeps me going, is like, I am motivating these younger girls, and that was me years ago. So it's just so nice to see them after the game, spend time with them. Like I appreciate their support so much, and it makes me want to just keep doing it because they get so excited to see us and talk to us. And yeah, it definitely keeps me going every year.
Yeah, it's truly incredible to see the look on their faces, and me with my 3 of my 4 nieces. My niece Harper, she's only 3, so she can't play yet, but she will. But my other 3 nieces play soccer, and they absolutely love it. My one niece, Savannah, scored 11 goals in one game this year. And
Wow.
I know. And my sister was like, oh, it's not, she's only 5, but I mean, 11 is a big number. It's one thing to score like 5 or 6, to score 11 in one game. And they told her, you can't really score as much. And I'm like, you need to get her on a different team. At what point did you know when you were a kid that I don't want to say we're like way better than everybody, but when did you know that you like, all right, hey, I have something here where I could go play D1 and I could go play professional soccer? Was there ever like an aha moment when you were growing up that you knew that you were a special player?
I think at 8, I was just a really good club player. I was a forward. I scored a bunch of goals. And then at 14, we had Team Ontario start in Canada. In every province had a provincial team, and I got selected for that. And then as soon as I got selected for that, it kind of just took off. I knew that's what I wanted to do. And I had to do those extra things to get where I wanted to go. So it was kind of the path that was set out then. And I just wanted to do it so badly. So I followed it to a T.
When did you switch from forward to a midfielder?
When I got to USF.
Really?
Yeah, I was this winger, fast, like girl. And then Denise said, we have really good seniors in that position, but we want you to be on the field because, you're a great player. So we might have to switch your position. And I think she switched it every single year, but that's okay. And then my senior year, she made me a defensive center midfielder, and here we are still playing that. So.
Oh my gosh. What do you like? And take me through that thought process. Cause listen, certain people are like, yeah, play me anywhere, but it's a big responsibility. And people may think, oh, midfielder's midfielder. It is not. I mean, the difference between an attacking midfielder and a person like yourself that is a defensive midfielder, like it's completely different. I mean, you might go years without scoring a goal, but that's not your role. Like, right? You're protect the back four, protect your goalie. I mean, what was that like switching positions every year? And, which one was your favorite? Do you miss being a winger?
Honestly, I'm just thankful that she gave me the opportunity to be on the field. And that's all I could ask for. Honestly, I wanted to help the team win in any way possible. So if she saw that I had the capability of playing another position, like only shows you're more versatile. And I just kind of owned that. Yes, it's harder to be a defensive midfielder. You don't really have the stats and all the hype, or, can't get in on goal celebrations or any of that fun stuff. But it's that, gritty, dirty work that sometimes goes unnoticed, but never to your teammates. So I do like this role. It's not as glamorous, but I think it suits me a little bit better.
Not as glamorous. And that's weird to hear from you, Miss Glamour over here. And I don't say that in a bad way. I say that because, you've gone out there and listen, you've done different companies and different modeling and stuff. What has that been like, kind of the off the field, off the pitch type of stuff to, kind of stay in the public eye, and, improve your brand? What has that aspect been like for you?
Yeah, I do enjoy the off the field opportunities. And I think the growth in women's sport is allowing for more of those off the field opportunities. And so, yeah, I'm just trying to take advantage of them and, try and promote our team as much as I can and go to these events. And it's been really enjoyable. I think that Tampa has a lot to offer, and to be the first women's professional team here, we get a lot of those opportunities, which is really exciting.
Where did I see you a couple of weeks ago doing something a little different? Were you at the Grand Prix?
Oh, yes.
How was that?
I had never been, and I actually didn't even know it existed in St. Pete. This is terrible of me. I blame it on living in Orlando for a couple of years, but
yes.
It was really exciting. It's something that I don't really watch frequently, but it's a whole new world that I had no idea existed. So it was incredible. Honestly, I would go back every year now.
I know we spoke about this before. Are you still not a big TV person?
Still not a big TV. I actually watched one show recently.
What is it?
Tell Me Lies, because all my teammates were telling me to watch it. And it's a crazy show.
What's Christian watching nowadays?
Everything. I mean,
he watches everything, doesn't he?
Literally everything. I think he just finished His and Hers or something, but he watches a new series like every 3 days. He's obsessed with TV. So
it's opposites attract in certain things, huh?
We're very much opposites.
So what do you do when he's watching TV and watching all his things? What are you doing? Reading a book? Running on the treadmill? What the heck?
To be fair, when he watches TV, he's mostly traveling. I just would never turn on a show when I'm on a plane. Like, it just doesn't interest me. He is watching series after series.
What are you doing at home? Like, you get home from, what are you doing then if you're not watching TV like the rest of the warm-blooded Americans out here?
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm running errands or like hanging out with friends or trying to be like outside, not laying in bed or laying on the couch watching TV. I don't know.
You've never been like that. You think he'll ever be like that?
I hope not. I don't know. It's just such beautiful weather in Florida. And I
It
think
is.
that it's so nice to be outside. It just gives you so much energy instead of just, in Toronto, yes, I will lay down on the
Right.
couch a lot more often when it gets dark at 4:00, but not here.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was driving back and I was driving to baseball practice, and I'm thinking of some people that like were born and raised in Tampa, and they talk about like, I can't wait to leave here. And I'm like, I lived 20 years in New York. I love it here. Do you think you appreciate living in this area and living in the state because you're not from here? Because I feel like I appreciate it so much more because I did have 4 seasons and I did have days where I was like, it's literally 4:10. Why is it dark outside?
No, absolutely. I had a roommate in college who was from Fort Myers area, and she was like, I can't wait to get out of Florida when I'm done. And then she moved, away, and then now she's back in Florida because there's nothing better. I'm biased. I just love Florida. But yes, my parents come down here all the time. And they're like, why do we still live in Toronto? I mean, this weather, you can't beat. So
they still live up there. Oh my gosh. Have they gotten any closer to move down?
One day when I pop out some kids, but
is that like the awkward conversation with mom and dad? Like, can I just finish my career first? Can I, live a little bit? Trust me, I've had that conversation as well too. When we look at kind of like the rest of the season with the Sun, what's your main focus for you? I mean, we talk about the team and trying to get back up the table and play the game the right way. At this point of your career, when you've already, you've reached the pinnacle, it's so rare to do that in year one. What keeps you going other than, the younger kids and other than the players on the team? Is it just the love of the game? What is the thing that gets you motivated on the day when you don't want to go work out and you don't want to put that extra time in? What's that thought that you always go back to that gives you that extra boost?
I think for me, it's just, I hate where we are in the standings. Like, I am such a competitive person that I just want to win, and I want to win every single day. And so I also look at my teammates who, weren't on the team last year, and how exciting it was to win a championship and to have the opportunity to possibly do it again. Like, why not? So we have a great group of girls, and I want them to be able to experience that. I want them to enjoy their experience in Tampa and in this league. So I'm trying my best to just be a good leader on and off the field and just motivate everyone to, lock in for these next couple months, because it's such a great feeling when you finish on top.
What is your ultimate 5-a-side team? It can be guys, girls. You can include yourself, not include yourself. You can use the goalie, not goalie. Give me 5 people.
You always ask me this.
I know. I want to see if it changes.
Okay. Buffon for the goalie, for sure.
The greatest, Gianluigi Buffon. What a great name.
Cannavaro, again,
Fabio.
Italian.
Okay.
He's my absolute favorite player, always has been. Pygmy defender. Oh my God, I'm just picking so many Italians. Another defender that I've played with. This is so hard for me. I'll pick midfielder next. Pirlo, another Italian. Special, really special.
Andrea Pirlo.
Let me go on.
No, go ahead. I was gonna say another Italian person, but sound like an idiot. Go ahead, keep going.
I am going to I'll pick Nasello on my team for sure.
Sid the kid.
Yeah, but Sid has to defend on the day. She needs to help and defend, but she can take people on 1v1 and score goals all day.
All right, you're really sitting here, out of all the people that you would talk to in the Tampa Bay media, you're going to tell me that our good pal Sydney Nasello is going to play defense? Okay,
No, she's going to play forward, but she needs to defend on the day.
No, that's what I mean. Backtracking and no, it's not. Even in a 5-a-side game, Sydney is going to fall on the ground. She's going to yell at the ref. She's going to say they missed the call. Then she's going to run back as she's yelling. Then she's going to go steal the ball, then come all the way back and score. She is like one of my favorite players to watch, because she's mad at the dirt. She's mad at the grass. And she can create something out of nothing, doesn't she? I mean, and I remember watching her at USF. Like, I would probably hate playing against her and love playing on the same team as her. She really transformed you guys last year, didn't she? When she came, because she came in, she didn't come in the beginning. She came in a little bit later on, right?
She did. I think she had an injury too a little bit at the start, but yes. I mean, she creates so much of our attack, and to see someone that talented and skillful with the ball at her feet, I mean, I haven't seen anything like it in the years that I've played. So yeah, we figured out kind of how to play with each other, not bump into each other on the field. Someone like, Sid, I don't know where you're dribbling. I'm just going to get out of the way. And I've learned how to get out of the way now so we don't smack each other. So yes, we're playing well together, but she's going to be a crucial piece as we push towards the playoffs now.
I love it. All right. Are you the fifth person then?
Yeah, I'll be the fifth person.
That is an incredible 5. So Gianluigi Buffon.
Wait, it's all Italians. Sid's Italian. Yeah.
You're so freaking predictable, Jordyn. So predictable. All right, so we may have something in the works here the next couple of weeks. Jordy and Jeff Attel and I, we're gonna kind of figure something out as we can promote soccer here in the Tampa Bay area as we get closer to the World Cup. Do you have a pick this early on who do you think is going to win the World Cup?
No, but I really need Italy to qualify, and I'm definitely cheering for Canada, and I guess the U.S. too. So those are my top 3 teams.
Wait a second. So U.S. is number 2 for everything, and now we get to soccer, and you bumped them down to 3rd?
They are 3. I mean, Italy is for soccer.
Oh, my gosh. This lady, Roberto Baggio himself over here. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, she's our friend of the program. She is one of our favorite soccer players of all time, our favorite golfers of all time.
Oh, gosh.
The one and only Jordyn Listro. You are the best. Thank you so much. Tell Christian we said hello. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you. We'll definitely, me, and Jeff will definitely talk next week, but we'll get you back on the program here soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Talk to you. All right. Bye.
Bye.
The great Jordyn Listro. She is the best. We love her. She's awesome. But yeah, we should be talking about something here soon with her and myself and Jeff Attinella. Just getting some text here. Oh, just some thank yous from people. Jake, don't worry. Most of us who play golf are terrible too. Our friend Lynden Blake is going to join us at 2:00. Any other news right now when it comes to the NHL trade deadline? Again, the trade deadline is at 3:00 today. Corey Perry's going to wear number 10. Corey Perry tells TSN he's trying to get his bags packed and get to Toronto to join the Lightning as they prepare to play against the Leafs tomorrow night. The Kings retained half of his contract, which applies to bonuses too. What a move for Julien Brisebois. He just said on TSN's Trade Center show that the Gold Bolts were a top choice if he got traded. There's still some unfinished business personally and with Tampa, so I'm excited to join the organization again and see some familiar faces. He hopes to play in Toronto tomorrow. I think this is one of those things where the more and more I think about this move, I think it's a low risk move for the Lightning. It's just a second round pick. As teams have said in the past, F them picks. You're looking right now for a guy that can help your team, and he can. And for everybody out there that is, all right, well, I hope they get a top 6 guy, and I want this big guy. And of course, I would love for it to be a guy like Steven Stamkos, right? But we knew that the high probability was it was going to be a bottom 6 guy at some point. And this is a guy that knows what it takes to win. Maybe not a cup, but hopefully we can change that this year. God, it would be so great. That would be a great story. He wants to continue to play. We'll see if it happens again next year. It doesn't. Listen, he won the Stanley Cup, and I don't want to say he doesn't win the Stanley Cup because he won the Stanley Cup back in 2007. The reason why I say that is because of the joke of, him being able to go to the final these last couple of years and not be able to win it. But, curses are made to be broken. And that team, the year when he won the MVP, I mean, you're talking about a guy that was just relentless, freaking relentless. Those years with him and Getzlaf and Ryan Kessler, those teams are just freaking nuts. And this is a guy that, when you go to the Tampa Bay Lightning, He's not going to be a high maintenance guy. He's not going to be a guy that needs a bunch of ice time. He's not going to be a guy that is so worried about any of the ancillary stuff. He is going to be ready to roll. 1 second. What a great day we've had as we celebrate International Women's Day. Jordyn Listro, Tracy West, Coach Michele Woods-Baxter, Deandra Loux joining us here on the program. We have our good friend Lynden Blake coming up here in a minute. The Worm is back. Corey Perry returning to Tampa Bay, and we just got the emails from the Bolts, and second round pick in 2028. It's not even 2027, and the Kings are retaining 50% of his remaining contract, and he has some bonuses in this contract where the initial report of this trade, there was a lot of people wondering, would the Lightning be on the hook for those bonuses if Corey Perry achieves that? Well, we now know after this information has come out that the Lightning are not on the hook for those bonuses, but the LA Kings are. So that should make you feel even better about the deal. Make sure you guys, if you're watching here on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter/X, kill that like button while you're watching, please. That would be fantastic if you could hit that like button. And if you guys, again, can contribute via the super chat, like our friend David Terry, $10 for the super chat. Our friend Janet Best, $5. Every little bit helps to keep this show on the road here. Again, we're speaking about Corey Perry. Your thoughts on the NHL trade deadline? Feel free to leave your comments, questions, concerns at the bottom. Do you want to see the Lightning make more moves? DT, Oliver out, Trocheck in. It seemed like we were heading towards a union with Vincent Trocheck and the Minnesota Wild. But it looks like that's not going to happen. And from what we're hearing from the New York Rangers side of things, they're not going to move Vincent Trocheck just for the sake of moving him. And they have a history of doing this. A couple of years ago, and this is before they ended up moving on from him. Years ago at the trade deadline, and this was after the first letter came out, the Rangers were looking to move Chris Kreider. And then they started thinking and wondering and weighing all their options, and they're realizing you kind of need a power forward like that. You need a presence on the power play like that. And then they ended up hanging on to him. And he had a couple of good years, specifically with Mika Zibanejad. So it ended up working out good for them. And this could work out for them as well. And keeping a guy like Vincent Trocheck, not making a trade just for the sake of making a trade. They did that with Artemi Panarin. But he was also an unrestricted free agent after this year, and knowing that he was going to be a $9, $10, $11 million guy, you wanted to make sure that you got something for him. There's still term on the deal for Vincent Trocheck. If you are looking for the Lightning to make a big-time move for a big-time player, I just don't know if we're going to see that in the next 73 minutes. Again, the NHL trade deadline, 3 p.m. Eastern today, and there's been a little bit of a kind of a siesta, if you may, after seeing a little bit of a flurry of deals earlier. And there's a lot of links. I know Scott Lawton, a link to the Kraken, Bobby McMahon to the Oilers. We'll see who makes the next big move. You want to be able to get into a situation where you're not overspending, right? You're not getting to a point where you're all right, still nothing yet. Where you're just selling a guy just to sell a guy, or trading for a guy just to trade for a guy. I'm very curious to see what the Lightning do here down the stretch. Would they move a defenseman? Possibly, but the one thing that we have to be cognizant of when we're talking about the Bolts this year is they've had a ton of injuries. They've had a ton. And you can't just, you have depth until you don't. Remember years ago, Zach and I went back and forth about this on air about, they should move on from this pitcher or that pitcher. Then a couple of weeks later, it was like this guy went down. They lost 3 starting pitchers in the span of 6 weeks. It's pitching, right? In baseball, in hockey, it's maybe defenseman or goaltending, right? You never know. You never know when you won't have depth. You may think, look at the Buccaneers with the wide receiver position. They're fine. They're fine with the wide receiver position. And then look at how many guys were banged up. Mike Evans gets hurt. Chris Godwin's slow to get back, right? You never know. Some breaking news in the NBA side. Jason Tatum expected to make his season debut tonight versus the Mavericks. Unbelievable. His return from that Achilles injury that he sustained last year in the playoffs against the Knicks. And you're just, again, you know how big of a Knicks fan I am. I was so glad that they were able to win that series. But just to see JT go down, your heart goes out to the guy. Just one of the real good guys in basketball. And the fact that he's been able to come back. Remember, Achilles injuries used to mean 10 to 12 months at least. Now he's coming back in less than a year. He's been grinding. He's been doing whatever it takes to be able to put himself in a position where he'll be ready to go before the start of the NBA playoffs. And you look at Boston and the job that Joe Mazzulla and Jaylen Brown have done. I mean, they're 41-21. There was people that were writing them off and thinking, without Tatum and moving on from Porzingis and Horford, they're going to really struggle. They're in second place in the East. They're a game and a half above my Knicks. They're right in the thick of things. And the Detroit Pistons, they're in number 1 in the East at 45-16. So it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle there at the top of the Eastern Conference. I think we know who the top 4 teams in the East are, with Detroit, Boston, New York, and Cleveland. It's got a little bit of a 90s vibe, doesn't it? And then really it's the top 2 teams in the West with the Thunder and the Spurs. And we'll see if the Thunder get healthy. And we know what Victor Wembanyama brings to the table for the San Antonio Spurs. One of the most just exciting athletes to watch right now. Dave Pagnotta says Calgary and Montreal are talking about a Nazem Kadri trade. I'm told it could include a guy like Patrick Laine. And I said something last night about Patrick Laine being a guy that would look great on the Tampa Bay Lightning power play, and Bolts Jolts and a bunch of guys are like, yeah, but he's terrible everywhere else. I get it. I understand. I'm not saying that they should definitely trade for him, but he is one of those guys that sticks out to my brain as being such an incredible offensive force. You can't teach the way he shoots the puck. You either have it or you don't. Unfortunately, his work ethic leaves a lot to be desired. It's almost like he focuses more about his fashion off the rink rather than what he does on the rink. But most teams and most coaches are going to give a guy like that with that God-given ability a chance and say, man, if we just get him in here, if we bring him, in our building, things could change. And the Lightning, to be fair, are going to be one of those teams. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to go acquire him, but you have to be able to have a good culture. And we saw that with the Bucks, right? That's why they didn't really blink an eye when it came to bringing in Leonard Fournette and bringing in Antonio Brown. They knew at that time the culture was strong. Other teams might not be able to handle it. And again, AB, ceremoniously, left by taking off his shirt and, dipping out there in Jersey. But the Lightning are one of those teams where if they really felt that Patrick Laine could fit in, maybe he does. Maybe he does, but I don't see it happening. It looks like Rashawn Gary is going to be released by the Green Bay Packers. There's some news there. $17 million of dead cap space to the Packers, clearing $11 million of space. 28-year-old had an unprotected 2 years, $42 million remaining on his deal. Now poised to hit free agency for the first time. I've always liked Rashawn Gary, a guy out of Michigan that has been one of the few constants on that Green Bay defense, and I still think they're trying to find the right mix there to match, which has been an offensive club for the better half of the last 10, 12 years. I want to shout out my guy, Jack Anderson, who grew up right here in the Tampa Bay area. His dad was actually a member of the Tampa Bay Rowdies back in the day. Peter, a great dude. Jack pitched at Jesuit. Jack pitched at Florida State. And Jack is getting the start today for Great Britain, representing his dad's home country against Mexico. I think it's on FS1. I saw it before, and I definitely wanted to make note of it because Jack is just an awesome guy. Also, tomorrow is the first battle in the greatest rivalry in Tampa Bay high school sports, and it is Tampa Catholic and Jesuit from Higher Park tomorrow at noon. We have games in Seffner at 8:30 and I want to say 10:25. So I'll be there late, but I will definitely be there. You know, I will not miss that. Tomorrow at Jesuit, the Tigers and the Crusaders. Jesuit only has one loss, and that is a loss to IMG, one of the best teams in the country. Tampa Catholic, as of right now, undefeated. And listen, you're going to either see Caden Wechter or Wilson Anderson on the mound for the Tigers tomorrow. You'll see Talon Miranda on the mound for TC. This is a battle between two heavyweights. This is the best team that I've seen from Tampa Catholic, and we had Paulie on last Friday. This is one of the best teams that Tampa Catholic has had since I've lived here in the Tampa Bay area, and they'll be ready to go. And it's going to be like a major league game. There's going to be scouts there. It's going to be nuts. So make sure you go out there tomorrow if you can. Other news around the sports world. Jonathan Marchessault, former Tampa Bay Lightning forward, and Eric Halla, one of the better defensive forwards in the game, both not skating for the Predators at practice today. Teams are calling it a maintenance day, but we'll see if those guys could be on the move. We know Steven Stamkos did not want to be on the move, but if Nashville was going to tear it down, that could be a way for him to kind of look to go somewhere else. The Buffalo Bills are releasing longtime veteran corner Teron Johnson. I've always liked Teron Johnson, but he's just got to stay healthy. So one of the best slot corners in the game. Another trade here in the NHL. It looks like Nicolas Deslauriers is getting traded to the Carolina Hurricanes. So Deslauriers is one of those guys that is it looks like Hawks and the Rangers working on a Derek Pouliot trade. But Deslauriers is one of the toughest guys in the league. You want to talk about a big fight. The other night, I saw Nicolas Deslauriers fight Tanner Jeannot, and it was one of the best fights that you're going to see. And Tanner Jeannot got the better of him, and you just don't get the better of Deslauriers. So he looks like he's going to Carolina. So they're loading up on guys that can protect, all these different, stars that they have with Nikolai Ehlers and Aho and Teravainen and Svechnikov. Like, he's that guy. Taylor Hall. Deslauriers is going to be he's going to be their enforcer, no doubt about it. Lions left tackle Taylor Decker. It looks like he is going. Man, it just seems like there's so many NFL players that long term have been with their teams, and now all of a sudden they're just they're gone. Pretty crazy. Pretty freaking crazy. So yeah, any other news that we hear when it comes to the NHL trade deadline, when it comes to NFL teams moving on from players that have been with them for a long time, we'll definitely keep you abreast of the situation here. Happy birthday to our guy Matt Matera from Pewter Report. I just texted him a little while ago. He asked me, "Hey, you want to go to Burns Thursday night?" I go, "Bro, I got baseball practice in. I ain't trying to spend $200 on a freaking dinner." I mean, when you go to Burns, man, you know what you're about to get yourself into, because you're about to go to the dessert room after that as well. So I wasn't I wasn't in the right mind space to go to Burns last night. That is for sure. But if you've never been, Go check them out because it's really a fun place to eat and one of the staples here of the Tampa Bay area. So really, really good stuff there. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. Over 2,200 subscribers. We got to keep that rolling. The trek to 3,000. Next week, we're going to talk about, obviously, what happens with the Mike Evans situation. Has he made up his mind yet? We don't know. What happens to the aftermath of the Tampa Bay Lightning after the NHL trade deadline? We know, if you're just joining us now, that they've made one move, bringing in a guy like Corey Perry. So there's a familiar face back in the Bay Area. And listen, as much as we would love to say that Julien Brisebois is going to go out there and make these big moves, do we know that that's going to happen? If I was a betting man, I'd say no. But I love to be proven wrong. I love for somebody to say Julien Brisebois is about to make a monster move and trade 3 guys out and bring 4 guys in. That's the beautiful thing about sports. You can't script it. You never know what the hell is going to happen. It's like the best reality show out there. And speaking of reality shows, speaking of pop culture, we always talk about some different stuff when she joins us on the program. It's usually T-Swizzle, surrounds Taylor Swift in somehow, some way. But we finish celebrating International Women's Day with one of the most talented people I know, one of the best people I know. She cut her night on Broadway short to join us here on the program. It's our good friend, Lynden Blake. What's going on, my friend?
You want to talk about a $200 dinner? Broadway, it'll get you every time.
Where did you go?
I went to a concert, and so we went, there's like this like fun restaurant on like this like rooftop called 60 Vine. So we went for dinner there and then went to the Ryman. So like, the Ryman is like the original Opry, like Grand Ole Opry. So had a concert. It was the Wood Brothers, the Woods Brothers, the Wood Brothers. I don't know. I was invited. I didn't make it the whole concert because I just get tired. But they were a good time. The people behind us were really rude. And
why? What did they do? How rude were these people? Oh, we lost you.
Am I back?
Oh, you're back. You're back.
Someone was calling me. They don't understand. Hold on. I think
no,
you're
good. Okay. You're good.
But no, it was fun. And then you're talking about Burns. I wanted a date to Burns once. And
tell us.
Well, I was just sad because he wanted to split the meal because money. And I was just like, man, like, I really wanted to get like the truffle mac and cheese, but I had to split it because I was like on the date and I was just like, this is not like, if you're going to go to a date, like Burns on a date, like don't split a meal. Like when you're married, split the meal, save the money. When you're dating, like let the girl get the mac and cheese, like I don't want to split your steak.
How many times did you go out with that guy after that? It's not your husband now, is it?
No.
Okay, good.
I'm laughing because
do I know him?
No, I'm just laughing. Okay. I knew you during this era. I think it's I think we went on one more date after that, and then I went. Is Club Sky still around?
Oh, I don't even know.
But you used to make fun. I used to talk about that, and we went to Club Sky, and I got in VIP, and he didn't because like he's not going to, and he pitched a fit and then left me at the club.
That was it.
That was it.
Chad wouldn't leave you. He wouldn't leave you at the club.
He would, if he had to go somewhere, he would leave me. But I do not think he would leave me at the club because that's like kind of next level. Like
that is next level. What did you make of the Olympics? How close were you locked into the Olympics?
I was pretty locked in. There's like this really cool like curling place in Nashville, and
really,
yes, it's like a Top Golf for curling. It's a sports bar. A former like NFL player owns it, but so it was funny. I was like doing like play by play with the curling, and everyone's like, "How do you know so much?" And I'm like, go to T-Line in Nashville. They literally teach you how to curl. You get to curl like you're on the ice, and it's a lot of fun. So I was pretty locked into that. place some bets on some speed skating, won some.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you bet? Like, I mean, on
No.
That's also kind of next level, but it was really fun.
If I got into like really betting and gambling, I think it would just ruin my entire life because me, I'm just like one of those people that loves sports and just like the purity of it, and it would probably ruin my life.
No, yeah.
It seemed like everybody was trying to like ruin the U.S. men's hockey team life for just like enjoying the win, right? It was just very weird. Like I saw you commenting on a bunch of that stuff too, and I was just like,
I have so many thoughts on that.
Let's hear it, man, because it was just like, all right, man, you know what I mean? Like, come on, like this is supposed to bring people together, and everybody wants to, have everybody go apart and just have some freaking fun with it for once. My goodness.
I just think I think everything's an absolute, like everything's like absolute. There's like everyone wants you to react with a hard line to everything. And I think there is a world like you don't like I'm a girl. Like I didn't agree with like what Trump said. Like I was like but the only thing that like fired in my brain, like when I listened to that conversation, talking about Cash Patel calling Trump to the men's hockey team, is like I was just like it didn't like make me stop. I was just like, oh, like okay, but like you move on, like but it did not make me like I wouldn't have said it, but like it did not offend me. It did not hurt my feeling. Like I felt nothing. It's just like there's like a country song called "Don't Take the Girl." Like it's a tale as all this time. Do you think like the guys, like my guy friends, like want me to go golfing with them all the time? No, I get told no. Like no, Lynden. It's like boys. Like it. I mean, I get it. Just like I don't want like boys coming with me to like get a pedicure. Like it's okay to like not just be like I whatever. But the thing that made me so mad about it all, like you can disagree with the comment, whatever, who cares? You are out of your mind if you think in a locker room popping champagne with your like beer goggles on, you're gonna be like, no, president, you cannot say that to us. We denounce what you like. That's just not human behavior. So like I think people online, especially online, you can be a little not human and you can like get in your little bubble, and it's like that whole instance was a perfect example of like go touch grass, like go out into the real world. Like that is not how real people react in real time. And I love what they did on SNL with Meg Keller and Hillary Knight coming out and like they made a joke about it. And I'm like, see, it's a joke. Like it's so okay. And the people that are still to this day online, like showing up at these guys' NHL games with signs being like, I love you, and now you don't deserve to have children. But I'm like, this is just like crazy. Like it's insane.
It's like if you don't agree with one thing that somebody says or one thing somebody does, it's like I hate everything, and that's scary, man. It's a scary way to live. That if you don't like one bad thing, it's just like everything sucks, and I don't care. I don't want to be a part of that. It's just like it's the cancel culture in a different way, right? It's just it's crazy.
But I'm glad you had sane people fight against the cancel culture, like Pat McAfee, like people, because it's not normal. It is not how we're supposed to live. You cannot, even yourself, like you cannot like live in this constant state of policing everybody. And you just can't live like that.
Yeah. And I love that the women themselves, like they chose to focus more on like, hey, these are our guys. Like we're not just going to sit here and cancel them. Like if anybody's going to be mad, it should be them. And if there's other people that are more upset than the women themselves that they were talking about, I think that says a lot more about you than it does the women. 100%. In the entire situation.
And like they just want to go. You really think they're going to let that like bring their like the women bring their joy down too? They just want a gold medal. They're having like the time of their life. They're on top of the world. Like I literally like it did not make me have one like bad sense of offensiveness. Like, and again, I'm a girl. I like to be one of the boys, and every chance I get, like, but it's just like whatever.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I wanted to get your opinion too on the Magic City thing for Atlanta because you posted on that too, and I was just like, wait a second, what happened with this whole thing? Tell us. The Atlanta Hawks, and then Luke Cornett came out and said I didn't think it was right. Like,
And then Al Horford backed him up. Okay,
Yeah.
so guys, so Magic City is a club in Atlanta. If you guys, hey, this is only fair. We talked about Club Sky, so now we're going to talk about Magic City in Atlanta.
But it's not a regular club, is it?
No, it's not a regular club, Jay. It is a strip club in Atlanta. Club Sky was not a strip club, by the way.
No.
Anyways, but they're having, I think this is, and I grew up going to Hawks games, like they're so fun. And they're doing like a Magic City Monday night, and it's, think about the Future song with Drake, Jumpman. He says like, heard they came through Magic City on a Monday. Like that's the lyric, talking about the club. And so they're doing Magic City Monday, and they're like featuring like their famous lemon pepper wings, and they're having T.I. perform, like he's Atlanta royalty, and they're not obviously branding it as a strip club night, and they have like merch that Magic City Monday and like a peach and a basketball. But at the end of the day, I mean, Magic City is a strip club. And Luke Cornett came out, and I get it. Like, it's kind of like, he was saying that this is degrading to women, and that the NBA shouldn't, encourage this type of business and everything. And he brought up like, how sometimes there's abuse involved and, all the weeds. I'm not very well versed on that side of it at all, but he had a concern and he wrote about it. And Al Horford, who played for the Hawks for forever, he supported Luke. And I was like, okay, like, and even Luke in his article said that a lot of NBA players, feel this way. I go back to my whole like, I don't think Atlanta, or I don't think they're trying to like make it something that it's not. I think they're just trying to like have fun with it.
Yeah,
because everyone, like, it's like everyone knows what Magic City is in Atlanta, and it's been around for forever. And I just think they're just trying to like have fun. And I thought it was hilarious. And apparently the ticket sales have like spiked since the backlash. So
people know about the lemon pepper wings. Look at our guy Chan. Look at our guy Chan. Our guy Chan, $10 super chat. Thank you. Magic City talk. Okay, I'm all in. There you go.
Yeah.
See?
It is funny because the NBA bubble of it all. You had Lou Williams going, and getting the lemon pepper wings, and like he had to go re-quarantine. They're playing the Magic. Like I don't know. I think it was I thought it was funny. But I like to joke.
And you do like to joke. And I think it's, the NBA is one of those, it's probably more left leaning than the other sports. So to have something like this, it's an interesting dynamic, isn't it? Because it's kind of like crossing streams a little bit in the NBA where it's, and now it's like, all right, because you don't hear a lot of as much as he wants to say, all right, well, a lot of other NBA players are saying this. I don't know if you're necessarily hearing a ton of other NBA players saying this too, because I tell you what we've heard more than Luke Cornett is we've heard other guys having women in multiple cities and going to strip clubs. Like that's kind of like what the NBA, you see that more from an NBA. And I've heard this from professional athletes themselves, including our pal Ian Beckles. Like that, you hear that a little bit more from like the NBA side and the NFL side, and not so much on the NHL and the MLB side. And it's not right or wrong. That's just kind of the reality of the situation. So for something like this, and again, it goes back to, it's supposed to be freaking fun. Like, I think, again, you're making a mountain out of a molehill here.
I'm telling you, Hawks games are so much fun. And I think they're going to have T.I., I love him. Like, I think it's going to be fun. March 16th, if anyone's interested.
Are you going?
No, but I mean, it'd be so fun.
Oh my God, that's so fun. Now I really feel like the Lightning. You want to talk about the Rays? If the Rays want to sell out Tropicana Field, shouldn't they do like the Dollhouse night, or shouldn't they do like 2001 Odyssey night or Scores night?
I mean, let's not take away what Tampa is known for.
Thank you. So people are getting upset about this whole Magic City night in Atlanta. I mean, if you want to sell out Tropicana Field, I mean, score with Scores night at Tropicana Field.
That is hilarious. That would be, I mean, you have every other night under the sun. So, no, I think that's hilarious. That's such a good idea.
this is definitely something that we are going to clip and post on social media, and people are going to love us or hate us for this idea. But no matter what happens, you could have Randy Lynden left field. You can have a Star Wars night. But I'm telling you, Lynden Blake from the Daily Wire and Jay Recher, we have come up with the one surefire thing that would sell out Tropicana Field in 2026 as the Rays return home is to do score with scores nights. Or I think score with scores night would work out great.
I mean, at Auburn, and I'm sure a lot of schools like the baseball host for like the Diamond Dolls, the Diamond Doll House.
Alex City's own Lynden.
I mean,
Blake.
It's a good idea. It's funny. Like, let's laugh. Like, and it's so much fun.
That's right. So before I let you go, are you the most popular person from Alex City now? I mean, T.O.'s kind of fallen off. We don't really listen to him that much anymore.
I don't know. Yeah, he didn't show up for some alumni event. Okay, he upset the wonderful people of Alex City. You're still not saying it right. Alex City.
Alex City. I'm a New Yorker. Listen, I tell you what. Our accents have gotten progressively better in the last 10 years of knowing each other, because my New York accent was way worse and your Alex City. The first time I saw you wearing these like lifted shoes and bell bottoms.
OTBTs, and they were really popular at the time.
Okay.
And it's sad they're not anymore.
And you would walk in and out of the Rays clubhouse not knowing what the hell was going on. and then you were like, hi. And I was like, whoa, hello. And then you just, you went down to Sarasota for a little bit. And then I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are now. How's the Vanderbilt track team doing?
Good. They have 3-4 people competing at nationals next weekend. So we're in indoor. So track season is confusing, guys. For those that don't follow, we're in indoor season, and then we're about to go to outdoor season, which we loved. But a lot of drama in the running community as well. I know you're a big sports guy. I don't know if you kept up with the U.S. half marathon championships.
Tell me.
So the top 3 so this goes and represents USA at like the world championships. And if I'm thinking that's correct. But anywho, the top 3 runners that were like the best in the field by far, they were detoured off the course, like by an official like course guide. So then they lost, and they're professional runners. Like it is a crazy story. And now I still think they're getting paid. I think USA Track came back and like they're going to pay them like what they would have won. And like, but you got to think like you're a professional runner. You have these deals with shoe companies, like bonuses. I mean, like there's a lot on the line, and they were clearly going to win like first, second, and third, and then they lost. And so now I think there's people that like won that are giving up their spots so the other people can be like on the team, like Team USA, because it was just such like a weird, horrible like error, but drama in the running community.
We're going to go check that out and report on it next week. That's the only, listen, the reason why I love having you on is, again, I'm proud of you and your journey and all the different things and all the different stories that you've covered. But man, like we always talk, you and I talk about stuff on the show that I don't talk about with anybody else. And
I love it.
It's the best. All right. Last thing, because I know I told you I'd keep you for 10 minutes, but you and me, we just go on forever.
I know.
Taylor Swift, what's the latest on T Swift?
I just know they're getting ready for a wedding.
Are you going?
That's about it. I haven't checked my mail in a while. I'm sure there's an invite in there for this like summer wedding. We're thinking like what, Rhode Island, makes sense.
Yeah.
Or didn't they already have a venue? Anyways, I don't know. But I think about every single night is, will Taylor come back to Nashville for Tight End University this year? That's where my mind's at. I think about that every day.
She's not a Swiftie. She's a Swifter. She's been
We're the more mature.
The more mature Taylor Swift.
And see, that just proves my point. Like, I don't even know. I think if I was a Swiftie, I would know already like what day she's getting married.
Exactly.
Because I would have like looked at her blinking in her videos and been able to like figure out like what she was trying to say. But I'm not.
Unbelievable. As always, again, we finished celebrating International Women's Day with one of my favorites, my really good friend, Lynden Blake. Tell your better half. I call him your better half, even though I love you more, but tell your better half. We said hello.
I will.
Good luck to Vandy track. And yeah, have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk soon, my friend.
Bye.
See ya. The great Lynden Blake. She's awesome. She is unbelievable. Yes, I'm definitely going to cut up that discussion about the diamond dolls from the dollhouse and Score with Scores night. That would sell out Tropicana Field, no doubt about it. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for me today on the program. Looks like Braden Shen is going to be traded from the St. Louis Blues to the New York Islanders, so Papa Rech is going to love that one. DT, Liverpool and Wolves FA Cup. If you don't win this one, I will personally fire Erne Slot. Yes, I don't disagree with that. Big thank you to Chan for the super chat, as well as David Terry, Janet Best, and you. Man, 5 fantastic women from around North America joining us on the program today. A big thank you to Lynden Blake, to Tracy West, to Jordyn Listro, to Deandra Loux, and to Coach Michele Woods-Baxter. We couldn't do this without you guys. And yeah, when it comes to women in sports and around the world, it can't just be the women advocating for them. We have to do our part as men as well. So on a day like today, I just think it's the best thing to do, the right thing to do, and I will continue to do that as long as I have a platform to be able to speak for a living. We will always do something like this to celebrate the women in and around the world of sports. Okay, come check me out tomorrow. I'll be at Jesuit for the Jesuit TC match or game. I got soccer on the brain. At noon tomorrow, I'll be late, but I will definitely be there. Go to Higher Park. It's going to be amazing. Follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. I am everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. I really appreciate all the love and support. Go Bulls, go Rays, go Bucks, go Bolts, go UT, go everybody. And we'll see. I will stay here until about 3 o'clock. And if anything breaks when it comes to the Tampa Bay Lightning, I'll pop right back on and go live again. But until then, I'm going to go lay down. I love you guys. I appreciate you all. We'll see you on Monday at noon right here on the